Debate, Uncut, and After Show. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon, and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere, and there's also a coffee, Patreon, crypto, and thanks button in the info box below the video. Speaking of Patreons, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon. So, a massive shout of thanks and appreciation to Survive the Spin, FE Patriot, Steve, On the Level, Thomas van der Zander, Cannabear, Gary Hughes, Measured Flat, Chris Wouters, Sensual Goat, Mitch Kennedy, Rod, The Name's Burley, Twad Wazzle, Jason Hornsby, Christoph Fournier, Flat Earth Travolta, JMels24, Unamento, Iron26, Endless, Golden McKinnon, Retro Bill, Level Plain Poem, Michael Kahn, John Kays, Patrick Gunnels, Banter, Mel B. Styles, Hairy Blade, Mobile Max 777, Rob W., Del West Watson, Unbelievable Productions, Blue Ridge Ranger, Abraham Mohammed, Skeptic 936, Texas Mike, Chow Yun Cat, David Wayne Foster, and Dank. So another massive thank you to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. Links to Patreon are below this video. With that, I'll hand across to whoever is in the Flat Earth Debate Discord server and G+, so you can enjoy their dulcet tones while I set up for today's live show.
Their fantasy and then act as if they're correct. It's a heck of a thing.
Yeah, they mimic us, except for they are just wrong, whereas we're just right. But they try and mimic our behavior. Trying to mimic confidence.
Yeah. Yeah, everything is thievery. Go ahead, Casey. My bad.
I get a mic check.
No, just 'cause you're talking about
I can
that
hear you,
globe
Neil.
gangster.
Yeah, fine, Neil.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've not gone on there to have a listen, but I can imagine.
They really do. They try to instill some sort of fear or worry in you. And it just backfires. It backfires every time.
Yeah, they're trying to. Some of them don't know it, but they're trying to gaslight you into believing it's a globe. Like any thought of it not being a globe, you must be stupid. It's always a globe. It's that kind of a thing. But it's not a globe. You know what I mean? That's the problem.
I'd keep telling them the
Globe
same
is an
thing. It always comes
impossibility.
back down to flat. Go ahead. My bad, Neil.
I'm just shut up whenever you're in here.
But I keep telling them everything comes back down to level is flat and gas fills space unless contained, and everything they'll say comes back down to those two things, to the point where it sounds like I'm probably chanting because I'm just saying level's flat, gas fills space. But like when they change, when that changes, I'll change my tune.
Well, you're gonna be singing the
Morning,
same
guys.
tune forever, my friend.
Yeah, morning mush.
Good morning, guys. Did you guys notice 24/7 is popping for some reason this morning?
Yeah, I noticed it wasn't there.
Unusually, a lot of people. Like usually at this time, nobody. Hasn't been anybody in 24/7 in a long time. It's packed.
I think we got sick of dealing with the general public Globers, and yeah, I was there for a long time last night. Last couple nights, really. Yeah, it's been hopping.
Oh yeah, 24/7. I haven't noticed. So, what kind of a crowd goes there? Globers. There's been some arguments and stuff?
I mean, you get
Is it the
the
old trolls or new people?
you get the followers and stuff, but mostly it's repeat repeat.
Repeat offenders.
Yeah.
I don't look down. I can't find it.
What, you can't find what, bro?
The 24/7 Discord.
Where you
The
looking?
Try to send an
If you
invite.
don't have, you can't find it. If you have a link, I can. You want me to share it in the main text chat?
No, I've got the 24/7 politics on that
No,
one.
no, no, not politics. 24/7 FE Discord, like the original server, not the politics.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, send me it if it's another one I don't know about. I'll be happy to have it.
All right, give me 1 second, bro. And it's in the main text chat.
Thank you.
What is this? Oh, Jado. Nathan, did you? I don't know if you're there. Did you see Jado's message?
No.
No, it's in the Discord. You want me to read it, or you can read it?
Message? Yeah, if you can read it, that'd be handy.
Sure. Says, Omni videos are the cringiest things ever. I can't watch. I know Nathan has to grow his channel, but I won't watch this garbage. If he starts swearing at people and calling them abhorrent names, maybe some of us will be able to share his content and help get the message and hard work of his panel out there. All right, that was bad reading, but yeah, I guess he doesn't like your vids, man. I gotta say, I enjoy them, man. I love it. I love the Omni's videos, man. They're short, powerful. You know, message gets out there.
Victory Royale!
What was that?
Nothing.
Yeah, man. The Saudi guys, that was great, man. I love the Saudi guys. That was definitely a little language barrier. I don't think they got the full message, but that was funny. Yeah, maybe the last one, the guy yesterday was the dunce guy, right? That was a little weird, but he started it, so. But all in all,
I'm
man,
not a fan
I
of
definitely love the Omni videos.
Yep. Brian hates them too.
Really?
hated him from the
Why?
start.
What about it? What about it?
Just don't like the whole format and just the whole thing. I just don't like it.
I appreciate the effort into it, and I appreciate the information.
Yeah, man, that's what it's all about.
Like the thing for me would be like it would be like going back. It's going back 6 years, and trying to restart. But I like them.
Yeah, man, catching people not off guard, but like, you know what I mean? Like they don't know what's coming, and then seeing that reaction, how they react to this information, and information repetitively gets out there. I don't know. There's nothing not to like, in my opinion. Swearing, I can see that sometimes, but whatever, man. Like it comes with the game,
Definitely more
It's an
digestible
emotion.
than the show.
Yeah, Friday's politics hasn't been too entertaining lately, but that's only because there's no Globers coming in. But I think Nathan still finds the way to get the information out there, and again, that's all. What's it about, right? There's a new FE vid. I don't know if we have anything for review today. Vid came out 3 days ago. The dude has 500,000 subscribers. Blimey cow. Did we do him before?
Probably.
He has my fiance became a flat earther. Should I dump him? Came out 3 days ago. 5,500 views.
Yeah, let's have a look. Stick it in Master B.
Sounds good.
It's a mixed bag with Omi. Sometimes you get a really, really good video. Sometimes you get an average video. Sometimes you get a video that annoy people because they don't like it. And you're like,
Yeah,
how it goes.
but the most interesting part is like they don't know what's coming. You know what I mean? Like, it's a surprise for everyone who starts talking to you, and their reaction is, to me, is priceless, man. Because everybody reacts differently.
Yeah. Something
Like the
different.
Israeli lady just
You
hung
can't-
up on you. Like half of people just hang up on you, right? I can't. Like, they don't know what to say. They don't know how to react. Like, okay, this is over my head. Boom, done.
One guy was
As
like,
simple as
gravity. And I'm like, okay, what's that? He's like, nah, not doing this.
I know
All I
the
said
word,
was,
but I
what's
don't
that?
know what it is. You want to test the sound on this one, Nathan? See if the video is good. Think it's only about 11 minutes,
Yeah, that looks good.
and it looks like it's just this guy talking.
This will be fine. This looks good.
Yo.
Sorry, are you doing a sound check while I'm checking this video, are you, Neil? Thanks.
Photography. That's like a homeschooler thing. That's like Netflix and chill, but it's different. It's like sunset and kiss on the forehead.
That's like a homeschooling thing. What does that mean? Anybody? What's he on about?
Or a cuddle.
No clue, man.
Jordan's messages.
Sponsored by Squarespace.
Jordan, why are you not... Well, Jordan, where the heck have you been the past 3 months having a baby? But Jordan, why the heck aren't you wearing your Messages Land t-shirt? What happened? I have lost it. It is gone.
Congrats, bro. Hope you enjoy being a parent.
I went to BlimeyCon, which was amazing, by the way, Josh. I went to BlimeyCon, ripping all my clothes apart, looking for my Messages Land t-shirt. Somebody even came up to me and said, Jordan, where's the Messages Land t-shirt? I don't know, I lost it. So now I'm wearing this baseball t-shirt. I'm trying to match the style, but this is my black-pilled Messages Land t-shirt.
Oh, my God. I already feel really irritated.
Yeah, it looks retarded. Just skip a few more minutes. Like, I guess the question comes up. Just
I have
another
been
minute or two
black-pilled
forward.
since we haven't done Messages Land in so long. Everybody's problems are building up in my mind. So we're making messages again so that I can become white-pilled. Another thing that made me not black.
White-pilled? What the hell? What does that mean?
No clue.
Black-pilled. Somebody from BlimeyCon, Josh, gave us a 3D printed marker holder. Fits so perfectly. I'm going to say the most profound thing that you have ever heard. It will...
I mean, I apologize when I talk about the computer, right? Don't I? I'm sure I apologize. It's like, this is monotonous. I realize it's just my gripes. This guy, he's upbeat about getting a new pen holder. 500,000 subs.
solve your life's problem. A bit anticlimactic, you think? No,
Yes. Yes, I do.
it's not. It solves everything for you.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
I'm back, and I'm ready to answer your...
Have I become cynical and old? Is that my problem? Should I be upbeat
No,
about
they're just
marker pen holder?
idiots.
What is it me? Go ahead,
No,
Brian.
they're just idiots. It's just there's absolutely no way to follow anything they're saying. Nothing is connected to anything. They're excited about things that's not worth being excited about. It's not you. It's definitely them.
No,
Definitely.
I just asked my wife. I said, "Is it me?" She went, "Yeah, a little bit." I went, "Why?" She went, "'Cause you're old."
your
Well,
messages.
what do you
Let's
pull
get...
out of that video?
You up?
I'm saying, well, so far, what would you get? There's nothing in that video so far.
My fiance became a flat earther in capitals. ... Should I dump him? Dump him in capitals? ? End quote.
To the messages. Dear Jordan and Josh, me and my boyfriend have been dating for a year now. We are both 18 and would love to get married one day. Not anytime soon though. So far, there has been one thing that makes me question if we should get married. My boyfriend is not sure, but is close to believing the earth is flat. I do not and will not believe it. However, he says he won't, for me, teach our kids that the earth is flat. But
Don't marry him. Definitely don't marry him. Do you know why? If you're
Wait until we know.
Go on.
Wait until he knows it's flat.
No, it's because your love for another person should have absolutely nothing to do with whether or not they believe it's flat, know it's flat, a Jewish, Christian, Muslim. It doesn't matter. Do you love this person? Do you want to reproduce with this person? Do you want to stay with that person indefinitely while you raise the kids you reproduced? Do you want to do that? That's it. Can you sustain and support a family with this person? Can you bear to be around them 24/7? Can you bear to be around them when they're irritated and annoyed and ill? That's what you ask yourself. Can they tolerate you when you're irritable? Can they tolerate you when you're ill? Will they still want to be with you and love you when you are sick, irritable, annoying? That's what you ask yourself. Not, I don't know if I can cope with his one specific view about flat Earth. Who gives a toss? Literally, who cares? For the majority of my marriage, my wife hasn't been a flat earther. She'd never declare herself a flat earther. Does it mean anything in our relationship? No. People think it means something. If you're an anti-flat earther, it must be the most crucial thing in the world. Not really. Not at all, in fact. I love my wife. She's wonderful. That's it. That's all that matters.
Who was it spoke up there a second ago?
The one that was like, wait till you know it's flat or something. I don't know who said that.
Yeah.
Was it Casey?
Who said that?
Yeah, that was me.
Okay. For a moment, I thought you were elder there. Sorry.
Where are you from, Casey? Don't dox yourself, but just roughly.
UK, about an hour from you.
Just give me a rough county so I can put your accent is very similar to Edinburgh. He's not wrong, but I just can't place it in terms of county.
Northampton.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
I read it there.
I didn't understand. I was way too Irish. One more time, Brian.
I have relatives there in Northampton.
You have relatives
So do
there.
I.
In Northampton? Yeah. Neil, did you say so do I?
Yeah.
You having me on?
Probably Northampton, New York State or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm from Luton, but I've moved to Northampton. Makes sense.
Luton's all right. Nice houses in Luton.
Well, it depends where you are.
Sure.
Yeah, Neil's probably thinking Hampton's Long Island, New York. And Brian, Elder Bear's been banned from this server quite a few months ago. And politics also. So you won't be
Thank
seeing him
God.
again. Yeah, man.
Why was he banned from politics?
That guy was a time waster.
I don't know. Probably for the same thing. Trolling and being obnoxious.
It wasn't that he was a time waster. He was vindictive. That was the problem.
Yeah, the last day we spoke, well, the first major problem that I would have banned him for is
quite a few times, man. With Nathan's kids and a whole bunch of stuff that he shouldn't say.
Yeah, vindictive.
Yeah, but even before that what he ended up at that was because, like, he should absolutely be banned for that, which is why he got banned. But he should have been banned before that because he was shown to be wrong and he wouldn't admit it. He was shown outright that he's wrong and he wouldn't admit it. He should be gone at that point. He hung in after that point for a week or two. And he came back a week or so. It was a week or so later, then he got banned and started bringing Nathan's family into it, which is rightly so. He can't be doing that. But the point is that I think anyone who is shown to be wrong and they won't admit it, they should be banned.
Sure, but
What's
in his
the point?
mind,
How can you have a conversation with that person?
in his mind, that whole crowd, Bev's whole crowd, thinks we've wronged them. That's the impression that they give off, like we've done them out of something, or we've wronged them somehow. I don't know why.
Yeah, but Bev said that we've made them irrelevant. Go on, sorry.
So I was going to say the issue we had in politics is that we could only do 2-day bans. Yeah, we couldn't do anything more than 2 days. So all these anti-flat earthers and the Bevites, they'd come in, they'd play up, they'd get their 2-day ban, they'd be back 2 days later, spruiking off again. Yeah, so this Globe Gangsters really came about because we ended up with the ability to permaban these guys, and we just started permabanning them all, and obviously they've taken off, and they were almost settling in politics server as their home. Yeah, they were there more than some of the flat earthers, and they just hang around, wait for a good conversation they could jump into and derail. But yeah, the 2-day ban was the biggest issue.
Well, I don't know why some of Bev's crew act in similar ways to the ballers. But I know that Bev said to me in a comment recently that we caused them to be irrelevant, to be made irrelevant or something like this. It's like, we didn't cause anyone to be anything. That's not our fault. That crew did that to themselves with their claims and their inability to admit when they were wrong. That's what made them irrelevant. Not us. We didn't do that. How did you make Bev irrelevant, Nathan?
I don't give a toss about Bev. When he was dishing out good information, I'd happily promote him. Same now. If someone put a video in front of me and were like, Bev covered this, it's really good, I'd be like, cool. I've got no animosity, and I'm pretty fickle, so I don't care. So if he's under the misapprehension that I'm out to make him irrelevant, it's like victim mentality much. I could sit here and bleat all day, and I do, about the censorship we suffer from YouTube. But it's not just bleating. Like, people are moaning at me about Omi. Why? Oh, because I've gone out of my way to do something extra. Yeah, I need to, don't I? Well, am I bleating that Jaren's holding me back, calling me a scammer? No, I'll point out when he calls me a scammer, move on, and try and do stuff to grow my channel. Now, if there's people out there that want to have a detrimental effect on your channel, then that's YouTube. That's how it doesn't matter what arena that you're in, right? I see bitterness and bickering in things like TechTube, people covering PCs, and they're bitter about some overclocker that says they've done their benchmarking wrong. And you're like, it doesn't matter where you go. There's always going to be someone out there that's trying to claw you down. Crabs in a bucket, man. Just try and not be that person yourself. Now, Bev wants to be that victim mentality guy that's, Nathan's bringing me down. Okay, whatever. I don't care. I'm not interested in him.
That's exactly right, Nathan. You know, that happened as well in my last business. So my competition used to go around, pull our signs down, damage our stuff. They spent more time focusing on trying to destroy me and my company than their own clients. And I just ignored them all, continued on with the job, and stole their clients that they were not servicing.
Exactly. I had that when I was a rep. A guy had a problem with a speaker attached to my amplifier that had been sold by a rep previous to me, or a dealer, because reps don't sell anything, but you know what I mean. A dealer had sold it to him prior to me working for the company, but he's got a problem. I immediately go out to him. It's like, this guy's got $100,000 hi-fi and he's got a problem. So I go in, quickly realise that the decorators have been in and just bodged it and rewired it the best they thought possible and blown up one of the tweeters. So I'm on the phone with the tweeter manufacturer, the speaker manufacturer, and trying to sort this problem out for him. And the guy on the phone to me is furious, the guy at the speaker manufacturer. I'm like, why are you so angry with me? He's like, you're making me look awful. You've gone out and sorted this customer's problem out. Well, yeah. I'm like, but it's not a problem for you and your amp. And I'm like, no. But his speaker's out of warranty. He doesn't know what to do. I've got a direct line to you. Why wouldn't I sort him out? He's like, yeah, but you're making me look bad. Well, I don't care. You know, if you had really good customer service and you were worried about somebody who'd spent 25, 30 grand with you, then you wouldn't be moaning at me because I'm doing a good job and making you look bad. Just do a good job. But they suddenly disliked me. I remember seeing them at shows and they were like scorning me. And I'm like, why are you so pissed at me? Because I run around like a blue-ass fly trying to make my company that I'm representing look good, even when it's not necessarily my problem. I'll still try and sort my customer out because that's what he is. He's got some of my gear, therefore I want to help him. That was the way my attitude ran anyway. It's the same, said it a bit last week, right? You've got to look after yourself. And in the case of YouTubing, when we're comparing ourselves to people like Bev, I am only concerned with the people who watch the show, the people who actually engage with us. Now, obviously, there's a hierarchy that I don't want to demean the people who just watch by saying, oh, I'm only interested in people who give me money. That's not true. You know, it is a channel and a community that's been built up over a long period. Therefore, yes, there's going to be a certain amount of politics between the people who watch. There's going to be a certain amount of discomfort in some of the material that's being put out. But you listen to everybody and it becomes apparent what people do and don't like and why, and how egregious they find it. And that's a community, isn't it? Well, if I'm primarily concerned with that, then that community will grow. If I'm primarily concerned with how other people's communities shun me and the sideliners who do come but aren't necessarily engaged with us suddenly disappear because somebody's told them to, you're like, well, you weren't really a member of my community to begin with, were you? In other words, get lost. Don't let the door hit you on the way out as you start telling me, oh, I'm not going to come back. Oh, you want me to know that you aren't coming back? That tells me straight away there's a good chance you probably will.
I don't know. I used to enjoy watching Bevs. I used to really enjoy it. And because I was always into the geometry and the surveying stuff. But Bev and his whole crew got too big for their boots. They decided that flat earthers were stupid people and that him and his crew were all the smart people. And that's what really happened. He started looking down his nose at flat earthers. It's like, the claims you're making are the same claims I can make and say the earth is flat. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know what the problem is. And he started focusing on us, flat earthers, instead of focusing on the real opposition, which are the ballers. And he probably wouldn't even call the ballers opposition. Do you know what I mean? It's like, he probably wouldn't even want to admit their opposition. It's bizarre. It's like, he's so busy trying to keep up a facade instead of just being honest with himself. Like, he ruined himself in that way. Him and his group caused the situation they're in. They dug their own hole. No one else did that to them. I mean, say you can do F4 with an angle and the earth is not flat because hills exist. How the hell is, and then contradicting yourself by pointing to your whiteboard and saying your whiteboard is flat when your whiteboard has undulations on it that could be called hills if you're really small and standing on it. You know what I mean? It's like, give me a break. That's not us. We didn't do that. We're not responsible for that. You're responsible for that.
Yeah. Absolutely. But people have that victim mentality. They want to blame someone else. Their fault. They've held me back. Okay. You can have that mentality. You just won't progress with it very quickly. People will latch onto it initially, but then they very quickly, misery needs company, doesn't it? So they're all moping around, miserable about how downtrodden they are. Ugh.
Yeah, but the main problem over there is MAUK. She's the problem. She is a major manipulator. And they don't even see that she's manipulating the whole lot of them all the time. But she's always in the background. She's never out in the firing line. The only time you ever run into MAUK is if you join there and she join in just to get smart with it. That's it. But she's the problem. She's manipulated Bev from day one, and he can't see it. Everyone knows it behind the scenes. Everyone's been saying it. Everyone's been talking about it. He's completely manipulated by MAUK. And that's where his problem started.
Okay.
Would you not agree?
I've no idea. I don't watch. I have no idea. I think I've spoken to MOUK once. Unless she was that person that came in under a fake account. She might have been. I don't know, and I don't particularly care. It's like, I'm not associated, so I'm not like super concerned about growing Bev's channel. There are certain people that are associated with this channel. Everybody that's associated with this channel will have their channel shouted out and plugged and grown, and you know, that's just how it is if you're part of this community. If you're not part of this community, then you don't get that. Now, you still get it to a certain extent when we're covering things that you do that are good, and Bev's had that treatment, right? So, I don't know, when people say it's perceived that you're trying to make them irrelevant or whatever it was that was the criticism, you're like, that might be indirectly what's happening. I'm sorry if that is the case. That is not my intention. I've no ill will towards you. I don't want to make you irrelevant. I couldn't care less.
Flat's not flat made him irrelevant. You sit there and you watch him destroy a baller with flat Earth, and then you watch him turn around and say, "Oh, it's not flat." I don't want to stay around there.
That's just stupid rhetoric. I don't get it. I don't get why they want to deny it. If it's because they've got social anxiety about the title and how tarnished it is, then I can understand that. You know, there were certain rationalities that I justified their behaviour when I first started seeing that they were saying these things, and you're like, okay, maybe it's because socially there's plenty of things about Flat Earth that I don't like either and want to distance myself for and won't admit to being sometimes because of mostly because, if not all 100% because of the Feast of Nonsense. Makes us all look stupid. So sometimes it is a stretch to call yourself a Flat Earther when someone's like, so do you think Australia is real? You roll your eyes and go, there's a reason that meme's out there. Now, it may not be the fault of quote-unquote Flat Earthers, but it's still out there, and therefore that's associated with what you're badging yourself up with. Now, that sort of social anxiety, some people can't cope with. Me, I couldn't give it. You think I'm what? All right, that's nice. I don't care what you think I am. You can make those judgments about me if you like, but you're obviously not someone I want to be around if you're going to be like that. You've already made up your mind what I am, are you? Okay, fine.
I understood that element of it. I have no way. I don't care if he doesn't call himself a flat earther. I mean, I never cared about that. You know, whatever. But no one has to call themselves a flat earther. But don't suddenly be attacking because I called it out. I was the person that called it out, if I remember first. It was like he was flat shaming everyone. You're supposed to feel shame if you're a flat earther. It's like, hang on a minute, and he hadn't even realized his contradictions in the stuff he was saying, and he hadn't even researched the definition of flat, all the different definitions. Do you know what I mean? He didn't. So, what do you do with that? Like,
You've been watching Bev or something? Why are we suddenly talking about Bev?
he got just Elderbear. Started out with Elderbear.
Oh, yes, it started off with Casey sounding a little bit like Elderbear.
Why are you attacking me? Why am I getting attacked by you? What's that?
Why not? That isn't that what you're here for?
No, because you're trying to make it out as none of this matters, but it does matter to you. That's a lie.
I was just asking why we were talking about it. Don't get so defensive. Bloody hellfire.
Because you're acting nonchalant.
Okay, sorry.
If you notice in the comments, sorry, I was going to say, if you notice in the comments section, because I do, you see the Bevites come around, and they come like a group, like a pack, like a gang stalking, and they'll spend a day or so in the chat, and then they'll taper off for one day, and then all of a sudden a bunch of the Delites come in, and that happens every single time, and it happens almost every few months. It's you could set your clock to it.
Shill scheduling.
Yeah.
The not flats and the upward rising earthers. That, you know, about as shilly as it gets in those two contexts.
It's just the coordination is just too. It's too many times to be coincidental, and too coincidental to be a coincidence.
Yeah. Don't read too much into it, but yes, noted.
Maybe.
If it is, it is. If you could prove it, what would it change? You know what I mean? It's like there's going to be
Yeah,
people
we're still
within our
here.
community that want to run the opposition. How you control opposition. Now, we know that is the case, and we talk a talk, but pinning people down on it, it's like, it's not going to be that easy. You accept that it is the case. Is it going to be useful to point fingers other than making us look silly when we're decried for not being able to prove it? It's like, accept that that is the case. You don't know who it is, you don't know why or what their methodology is. And pointing out that people are behaving very shilly is all you can really do. As long as you don't labour it for too long, because then you end up being a conspiratard.
It reminds me of that meme. It's not conspiracy theorist, it's pattern recognitionist. I guess it's just a pattern I thought I should point out.
And probably a very true pattern. And
Yeah.
don't leave Nathan talk you out of looking into it.
I'm not trying to talk him out of anything. When I say don't labour it, I'm talking about what's recorded, as opposed to what's considered behind closed doors by any individual. You do what you like. I often say I ponder what the sky is and how it's blue. Do I talk about it on the show and question it and ask others how they will justify their blue sky? No. Because that creates a certain impression, doesn't it? Standard that I can't realise when we're in no questions asked, no frills. I don't even want to call it discussion or debate. You know, we're telling people what's what. Earth's measured flat. Doesn't mean I don't like speculation. Love it. Very exciting world that we live in now. We don't know things.
I'm going to say something on the ball busters the other night. It's a pattern I've seen in this arena over and over again when people are when there's any offshoot to the whole evolution nonsense. If you're trying to defend the Bible within that debate, it's the same thing as trying to defend the Feast of Nonsense in this. I mean, there might be an ice wall, there might be a dome, but I can't use them in a debate and win, if you understand what I mean.
Absolutely.
So, would you agree?
I absolutely agree. You're singing my song. This is my song. Don't try and argue with things that you can't justify, that are speculations. Argue with things that are uncontestable. Don't say there might be an ice wall with lands beyond it. Say we expanded the known territories. Here are the maps. Those two things are very similar but very different, aren't they? One, you can slap down a map and say, here's where we didn't have those lands. Here's a newer map where we do. How did we expand the territories? Well, you describe how you measure the Earth flat with elevation angles, track where the stars are. You can even incorporate the heliocentric model for the tracking purposes. It's all flat. But that's very different to saying there might be more land. That's why we've been lied to. Prove there might be more land. I can't. Right, well then it's a globe because I've just given you a false dichotomy. So I win. Globe. Everyone back to business. On a globe. That's so terrible as an argument.
Yeah, and unfortunately, there is a parallel between that and in an evolution nonsense debate, suddenly trying to defend stuff that's in the Bible. You know it and things. You can't. It doesn't matter if it actually was true or if it's at present in the Bible and your belief. You can't defend that in a debate because you can't actually prove it. Your proof of the Bible is going to be back in the Bible, and they can hand wave it.
Exactly. QE summarised it because I asked him and he gave a really good answer, actually. He's like, well, if you're having this discussion with a fellow brother in Christ, then the context is set for both sides and you can have these discussions. But if you're going to lean on evidence where the other side contests or is a non-believer in your Bible or the Quran or whatever standard you're going to lay down in that context, then that's an unreasonable standard to be utilising. Now, that came about because Kent is obviously leaning on things that he's got to answer because he's being asked about the Bible. But whenever QE debates, he knows which standards to argue within, and others don't. And a lot of biblical flat earthers will argue within a standard that they've got no right to be in when they're arguing with somebody who's a non-believer.
Yeah, but even with Kent Hovind, he allowed himself, he continued on down that road because, sorry, one second.
We get
Sorry, Ed.
That's right.
Just saying that he continued, like, he could have just said, well, that's my belief. But anyway, back to facts. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he didn't. That's the problem. He was baited into defending it, and because it's such a strong belief of his, because his faith is so strong in the Bible, that he started trying to defend it. Because it's like a reaction he has, as opposed to realizing you can't defend it. You can't use that in a debate. Because, you know, when it comes to whether there's a creator or not, that doesn't prove it. That's your faith, but it doesn't prove that there's a creator.
Right.
You can make correlations, but you can't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's debating with him about 2x2 into the arc, and it's like somebody debating about a dome and an ice wall. Like, you shouldn't be arguing this as a standard if you're trying to prove your point. It is a good parallel, Brian. We get extended a certain courtesy because we can have these discussions with Christians, because you and I, although not devout Christians or Christians at all, are in the know enough to know that we have to extend somebody you're having the discussion with the belief that you argue with if you're going to argue with them. You know, you accept that you will argue within that context, and it's unreasonable to just start, you know, asking them to defend their faith at any point to win. You know, none of us would do that when we are having discussions with Christians about the context of their Bible faith. But, you know, you can slip into that mode like I can so that you can involve yourself in the discussion. You know, that's what anybody should be able to do if they're good at debating. That is to say, they can sit themselves in their opponent's shoes for a while. And not that Christians are our opponents, but I'm just saying, you know, when one of us plays devil's advocate as a baller, most of us are quite comfortable to sit in that position and argue from their standpoint. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do, yes.
Anti-flat earthers are the antithesis of that. They not only can't do that, anything that we do say, even if it directly contradicts their own globe rhetoric in rebuttal, they'll put it out there just because they despise us.
Another thing I would say is, when it comes to Kent Hovind, he's enjoyable to listen to. I'm not saying he's not enjoyable to listen to from time to time. But technically, Kent Hovind and McToon, there's no difference really. They're both Christians and they're both ballers. Well, you know, why would I big up Kent Hovind when he's a staunch baller? He said, what was his statement? He won't address the flat earth until there's a model. You know what I mean? That's what you're dealing with there. Why would I care about what Kent Hovind says or does at that point? You know,
I tried to get that out of Adam.
More invested in it.
I agree. I was trying to get it out of Adam when he was all like Uncle Kent, and I'm like, what's with this affinity with Kent suddenly? You know, I don't know. I don't feel any allegiance with Kent Hovind. But Adam was like, no, we got to take it easy on him for this and that. And I'm like, I don't really understand what's happening here. Am I missing something?
Yeah, I think Adam was having a bit of empathy for him, when really, in my opinion, he deserves the same treatment as we would give McToon, more or less. Maybe not exactly the same, but along the same lines. I mean, he hasn't maybe behaved like McToon has behaved, but, you know, in the kind of degenerate way that McToon has behaved. But he's still the same thing. He's a Christian, yeah, right? He has a Christian faith, but he's also a baller. So his heliocentrism trumps his Christianity. Because if you're a Christian and a baller, then heliocentrism trumps Christianity as a faith. Because it means that you have to deny certain things within your own Bible to keep the baller belief alive, which means that the Bible comes second to ball. And that's how I view Kent Hovind. He'd hate that, but it would be true. That's why he'd hate it.
I have no interest in converting him or debating him. You're like, if his attitude, as you put it, is that I'm not going to talk about flat Earth till I've got a model, I'm like, immediately, just in terms of argumentation, I meander through my thoughts going, how can I explain to Kent that the models or maps that are used in any circumstance have their origins in a flat plane? You know, I could go through the whole process of Haversine conversion from flat plane origins, that's elevation angles, to give him celestial spheres and globe earths within the centre of hell, you standing making angle measurements to make it all work. You know, that could be an explanation that I, if I desired, could take the time to go through Kent to explain that all the models have their origins in flat Earth measurements. They may have a globe projection process along the way, but they end up being flat. They start flat, they end up flat. Your misapprehension that they start their life at the globe stage is wrong, but that means that all quote-unquote models, which are not their maps, are flat and are utilised flat, obviously flat when you roll them out flat, and have their origins in flat Earth measurements. Therefore, Earth is flat. Now, I could do that, but I don't have any desire to do it. You know, what does Kent mean to me? Or anybody? You know, my doors are open for anybody to stroll in. I'm like the bartender. You want to drink the drink? Hand over your cash. Here's your drink. What's that? I need to go to another bar? No, I don't. I need to proactively go out and force Kent to drink my ale. It's like, no, I don't. But some people feel that way. You know, they're like the flat earth evangelists of this world. And often they're punting the feast of nonsense anyway when they're out on their flat earth evangelization tip. But it's just not me. You know, I'm more inclined to just leave the doors open.
Well, Kent Owen for me is, as I said, he's just a baller. I mean, he might be he might be fighting evolution and whatever, you know, in debate or whatever evolution is. But for me, he's just a baller. Doesn't, you know, I saw McToon standing in a church recently. I think it was on a QE Live, they were playing some of it. And I could see Kent Hovind standing in a church, you know, as well. But they're both ballers. That church, that altar, none of that really means anything because they're willing to put heliocentrism ahead of it. They're willing to deny Genesis for heliocentrism. You have to. You can't promote heliocentrism and not deny Genesis. You know, you don't have to be a staunch Christian to understand that. So, you know, they're frauds as Christians. So that's how I view them. I don't care how strong Kent's faith is. He's willing to you know, sideline it every time for heliocentrism. Every time, without fail. So, how strong is his heliocentric faith then? Because we all know he has this supposed really strong biblical faith, but yet he's willing to sacrifice that in the drop of a hat if someone tells him that the Earth's not a globe.
Yeah, fickle.
I saw Kent Hovind on TikTok saying that he would debate flat Earth, and then I saw other ones where he said he wouldn't debate it anymore. But I saw him making a video, like replying to basically how stupid flat Earth is, and it was just the day one stupid arguments that like people that don't even know the globe model would make. It was really sad to see. Kent Hovind, honestly, I like him with like what he's doing with evolution stuff, but like he needs to really look into flat Earth, but he's too stubborn.
He's a walking contradiction. Because you can't promote heliocentrism without promoting evolution, whatever that is. You can't do that. This is all based in heliocentrism. It makes no sense. He's arguing with Planet Peterson on something that he agrees on him with. You know what I mean? It's stupid. I was tired the other night when I was on QE Live or I was on Ballbuster. There's a lot of things I didn't say. But if I was, probably maybe a lucky thing that I wasn't more lively because I would have said a lot more. It's like he's literally on the same side of the fence as Planet Peterson, arguing with him. Makes no sense.
Yeah, it's silly when when an atheist, but he agrees with the atheists on like creation, which just doesn't make sense.
Well, my question the other night I asked was, if I was going to ask him a question, could he define level, right? That'd be an interesting conversation. But maybe a better question would be, where did your globe come from, Kent? What's he going to give me? He can't give me Genesis. Can he? All he can give me is the heliocentrism story.
There's 2 verses in the Bible, I believe. It's the circle of the earth one and that one that hangs on off nothing. That's the only 2 verses that you could put to heliocentrism. And the first one, circle, that's like 2-dimensional shape. That's like looking down at the flat earth with an ice wall. Right. Apart from that, there's nothing.
And there are any of them in Genesis?
Yeah. The circle of the earth and hangs on nothing are both biblical.
Are they in Genesis, though?
I don't know if they're in Genesis.
No, those 2 are not.
They're not part of the Torah. So, I mean, the Genesis is the genesis of the word, right? And the biblical, from the Torah, the biblical layout of what happened, right? So it doesn't really matter. I mean, the circle is just a circle. That's a 2-dimensional. So that means nothing. And hangs. What's the globe hanging on? It's floating in a vacuum. Floating in a vacuum. Give me a break. It's like that is such a joke. But the point being is that people like Kent Hovind are out there promoting, Christianity. Then they turn around and they're fighting for the opposite side. As far as I'm concerned, he's a double agent, whether he knows it or not.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah, I feel the same way in the way he talks about flat Earth. It's like part of me thinks he's like, I don't know, getting paid out to like not talk about flat Earth.
That's what they were saying when he came out of jail. So I think he came out of jail right when flat Earth just first started striking a chord with people. So it was around 2015, and he was released, and one of the first things he did was decry flat Earth. And I think he went out to the beach and was like, "Look, there's a boat going over the curve," something like that. Everyone was like, "He's a shill. He's been forced to do it in jail."
When I say double agent, I don't mean that he actually has to get paid or he's an agent. I'm saying that he's promoting 2 contradictory things. Like I said, he's a double agent, whether he knows it or not. That is what I said. In other words, he's promoting heliocentrism all day, every day, and also promoting the Torah. How can you promote those 2 things together? Can't.
Yeah, it's really bad.
He's promoting heliocentrism and what else? Sorry?
Genesis, the Torah. He's promoting the biblical creation of the world, right? Until someone says that the Earth's not a globe, and then he's promoting heliocentrism over that. So every time, heliocentrism overrides the Torah, or Kent Hovind, overrides Genesis.
Yeah, it's so obvious what they've done. Like, they've put the sun in the center. It's sun worship. Like, and people just don't see it.
Well, Kent Hovind goes from trying to make arguments for the worship of the Creator to until someone tells him it's not a globe, and then he's arguing for the creation. He's worshipping the creation, which is what heliocentrism is.
Yeah. It's really, it reminds me of like when I was going to my church and I wanted to do like a flat earth presentation for the church, right? like you start talking about flat Earth, and it's like, oh, they get all angry at you. But it's like, okay, show me where it says it's a globe and it's spinning and it's orbiting, and the sun is in the center, and the sun stopped moving, not the Earth spinning. Like, show me that, right? They can't do it.
Yeah, but this rhetoric's come from the church through the education system, so don't be too shocked. Two are intrinsically linked.
Oh,
The Catholic Church, absolutely. They're completely corrupt. Like, they're the real double agents. Let's not pretend, you know. But you have people like, but you have Christians, because Kent Ho is not a Catholic, he's a Christian. You have Christians who are promoting the Bible and promoting the Torah and Genesis until someone tells them it's not a globe. Then he's arguing for sun worship. You know,
exactly.
the guy's a fraud.
Yeah, it's like they don't even realise they're doing it because it's part of the education that they've given that's approved from the church, come from the church originally. They'll tell you you're wrong and launch into their heliocentric understanding and start telling you how science has proven it. These are men, I mean, this is a specific conversation I had with my uncle who was, before retiring, a pastor. And at the time, I come across this subject and started asking him. I know somebody who's religious and knows the Bible far better than I, let's ask him. He just launched into heliocentric rhetoric, telling me about how science knows. Right, but the Bible's contradicting it. He brushed it off. No, we know in the church, we understand science. All's very, like I say, very confident about the fact that he's already got it sussed. It's because that's where it's come from originally, isn't it?
Hello.
Hello. Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. It's good to be here.
morning.
Everyone have a good weekend. Hopefully so. Well, that's good to know. I had mixed reviews from all the videos I released over the weekend. So there was a whole bunch of Omi videos and shorts that I released periodically, mainly on Sunday because of Ballbusters. But yeah, they were released over the weekend. Members had already seen them all. But after the fact, a few people were like, I don't like these videos. You're like, you can please some of the people some of the time, but you can't please all of the people all of the time. But they're generally well received by the people who do comment, enthusiastically so. But also there's people who detract away from those Omi videos. In any event, there's an Omi video playlist with all of them in. I think I added them all. So if you want to see the most recent ones, just go to that playlist. Alternative, if you don't know what we're talking about, just check out the playlist on the Nathan Oakley 1980 YouTube channel homepage. And you can see that playlist full of people randoms on Omi TV going to find out that Earth is flat and space is fake and things of that nature, all in good fun. There we go. Any of you lot got an opinion on this?
Yeah, I think space is fake.
Oh, what I meant.
Yeah, I mean, flat Earth seems crazy at first, and then you look into it, and it's like, oh, something's wrong. Yeah, and then you come to the realization that it's true. It's the truth.
It's not what I meant either. I mean, has anybody got an opinion on whether they're good, bad, or indifferent? The Omi TV videos, essentially flat smacking as it used to be known, random strangers on the internet, from the comfort of my own living room, I might add. That's what I was asking.
I think red cars
Not
are
you, Brian.
nicer than green cars.
Sorry, I'm cutting you off for humorous effect because I know that you're a detractor.
Yeah, not you, Brian. Yeah, is that what you said?
Yeah, just for the humorous effect of it.
Yeah. You want honest feedback, but you don't want honest feedback. Right? Okay.
No, go on, seriously. I know you're a detractor. Brian from the start said, I don't want any part of it, and every time I start recording them, he dutifully disappears immediately. And it isn't unnoticed. Everybody comments on it immediately. There's a slight hush as Brian disappears. Oh, you're doing Omi videos? Bing bong. Oh, Brian's gone, is he? Why is Brian gone? Brian doesn't approve. Oh.
Yeah, I don't like the Omi TV thing. I don't like it. I don't. It's not that it's bad. It's that I don't trust OME TV. I don't trust some of the people on there who would say that they're I don't want to do it. So from day one, literally day one, I click out. As soon as in the after show, When you start doing that, I just leave and say, I'll talk to you later. I do. But what I was coming in to say was that I was coming in to say that I think red cars are better than green cars, which was another complete non sequitur to what you were looking for. I was trying to be humorous. But you ruined it because you pre-assumed that I was coming in to attack your own ATV videos.
I did ruin that. I am sorry. But I have got one of the, just on the same topic, because you're saying you don't trust the people on Omi. So this is one of the very short clips from Omi. Like, comment, share, or subscribe on whatever platform you are watching this on. What's with the mask?
Safe for me.
Safe?
Yeah. Here, very danger.
You're in danger of what? Ninjas?
Yeah, dangerous. In the
Dangerous.
Omi TV. Yeah, very dangerous for me. So I need mask 31.
Okay, you're old enough to go onto YouTube then.
YouTube?
Yeah, I'm making videos telling people Earth is flat and space is fake.
Okay.
Did you know that?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's part of most of the world's religion. You were taught it in school, right? That you're on a ball in a sky vacuum?
Yeah, give me the channel name.
Nathan Oakley 1980. You get the general gist. I won't play all of it. Anyway, that's what you get on Omi. Some of them go on for 40 minutes plus. Some of them go on for 30 seconds. Just depends on how the person responds to what I've said to them. But there's a whole playlist of them. Check them out. Obviously, they're controversial. Some people love them. Some people hate them. Anyway.
I just don't like.
Go on, Brian.
No, I'm just saying my one. I just OME TV. It's just one of those things. It's just as a website, it's not protected enough for whatever yet. If you know what I mean, that's how I view it. It's one of these things that will either be bought out by a bigger company and made into something more mainstream, or it will, you know what I mean, it'll kind of go backwards. It's one of those things. It's like it's just one of those things. I just don't. You know, anyone can say they're any age on it. You know, this kind of stuff. I don't have to do with it. I don't trust it. The minute I saw it, I got a bad feeling. When I look at it, I get a sick stomach. That tells me everything.
Okay, well, I normally do like straw polls and such from the audience when there's controversy like this. But what I'm going to do in this instance is invite my own audience, right? I don't know how many people are watching, maybe 50 people. We've only just started. Yeah, 57 people watching. Go and click on the video that I've just played. It's a shorts video, and leave it a comment, right? And what I want you to comment on is, do you approve? Do you disapprove? Now, if you're not the type of person that typically comments, you're the kind of person I'm actually asking to do this. That is to say, click on the link. It's only a 60-second video, so you're not going to miss a load of live stream. But just do it as the comments swinging its way by now. So if you're in the amongst the 50-odd, 60-odd people that are watching currently, click on it and leave a quick comment to me. And just tell me your opinions on it. I understand that it's been Brian's distraction from it and my saying, obviously, I'm trying things new to generate more interest in the subject matter. And it's been well received for the most part. But I'd like to get your comments. That is to say, my most dedicated audience, which is the people that are typically here earliest. Especially if you don't normally comment. Go and click on that link. Leave me a comment and just tell me so I'm aware, based on what you see in the video. Because it's a fairly unobnoxious, or whatever the word is, video in that regard. The guy's just there to chit chat. There's a bit of a humorous aside about the fact he looks a bit like a ninja, and you know, he finds out Earth's flat, space is fake, and then we move on. It's very short, so it's not at all offensive. There's no swearing, other than him saying that he feels like he's in danger, which is kind of the reason I'm picking this video, to get comments and opinions on it, because I had this particular session of Omi videos has been a right mixed bag of people expressing their views on it, one way or the other, as opposed to just a wave of praise that it's something new and exciting. So there we go. Now that they've been done for a while and people have got familiar with me doing them, it'd be nice to get a more up-to-date opinion. Now people have got to grips with what it is and what I'm doing there. And there's probably a playlist of 50 to 100 videos now easily. Anyway, there it is. There's a link. Please click on it if you are actually watching now live, and just leave a quick comment. Just tell me what you think. So I've got a broader idea. Go on, Craig.
Are there any other platforms you could do a similar thing?
Well, it's just, for me, it's just perfect. It's just a way of connecting to random people. So I don't care if someone was to say this other platform does the same thing. It's going on to TikTok and YouTube. So in that regard, and I think automatically, is it Odyssey automatically re-upload my YouTube videos? There's various different platforms that it does make its way onto for consumption. But in terms of the acquisition of a random stranger, I don't care which platform it is. If people just don't like Omi because it's got an association with people behaving badly on the former version Omegle, then so be it. I was unaware of that when I started using it.
No, it's just a thought. But yeah, they do go up on Odyssey as well.
Say that again?
They do go up on Odyssey when you post them. And yes, I was just wondering if there was any other that we could give a try. That was all.
Yeah, I'm always up for doing new things. I mean, to my knowledge, there's very few new formats in the Flat Earth community where you can say, well, that's new. I've not seen that done before. And not that I'm boasting, but, you know, nobody else had done it. Then I come along and do it. Lots of people have been on those platforms to chat to randos, but, you know, turning it into a video about Flat Earth specifically and space being fake specifically with random strangers, publicised on YouTube and TikTok and Odyssey or wherever else you might find Nathan Oakley 1980 videos. Like I say, I don't mind where I gather up that from, but I'm not, you know, I like being in my seat. So actually, I've always said this, I'm not for street activism. You know, I'm not a big fan of it. I've done a little bit here and there, but it doesn't appeal to me. If I'm out and about, I'd rather do something more fun than talking to the great and washed. So that's not my bag, but doing it here to easily record, instead of having to cope with the crap audio that you get from a phone and batteries running out and phones overheating, I hate doing it out in the field. You know, I found it tedious when I was doing media studies. Just everything's obnoxious in terms of how it functions. When you've got a plug and mains, everything becomes easier. And they've designed this stuff to make it easy, right? They want people to communicate back and forth in an easy manner in the modern age. So, yeah, you know, taking advantage of that. Why not?
Just so you know, look, you do whatever you do. I understand you need to do what you have to do for your channel. I get that. So I'm not trying to put it down to the point where you don't do it. It's something I don't like. That's all.
No, I get that. It's one of those, we're a strong enough community where people can raise their objections and give their reasonings and say, look, I'm not trying to detract you from doing it. In the same way as I say everyone's entitled to their belief and wish Simon well all the best, Simon Dan, right? It's like, well, why would you do that? Shouldn't he be your enemy? Shouldn't you hate him? No, actually, no. You might perceive it that way, but it isn't that way. And in the same way, Brian's telling me, you know, I'm not trying to say don't do it. It's just I don't like it. I wouldn't do it. It's not something I approve of. But I get it. You're a YouTuber and you're going to do what you do. Doesn't mean I'm not going to express my grievances about it. And he can. It's nice that Brian can. Best be grateful.
Well, you shouldn't have to do that. You shouldn't be in a position where you have to do that, but you have to do it because of the position YouTube places you in. I totally understand that. I also have a chance.
Check it out, Brian talking to me like I'm some sex worker. I'm a total. I've got to do it. I've got to do it.
So much you have to do this, you know. A flat-out sex worker, yeah.
I'm demeaning it and belittling it because it's so true, right? Yeah. Do I want to sit after I've finished doing my do for the day that consumes most of the day anyway? Do I want to do extra do? So I've got a slight chance of it not dipping below being able to pay the bills with it. That's the revenue income stream that YouTube generates. No, if I see it dip, I'm like, I've got to do something. So you end up racking your brains for something to do, and then you end up with Omi being the result. Well, that's done out of necessity. And it's sad, and I'm glad people like it. But it'd be nice if I didn't have to do 4 videos a day. Like, on average, probably higher. It'd be nice if I didn't have to do that. But I do. It's out of necessity. But you're right, Brian.
Well, Nathan, we all see these other channels on YouTube. They could have 70, 170, 570,000 followers, right? So loads of them. And their live shows are basically just a heap of rubbish and false, incorrect information. Most of the time, right? So I find it really unjust that anyone would have to do what you're doing just to keep things, the lights on, basically. You know what I mean? You shouldn't have to do that.
I shouldn't have to, but by the same token, the fact that I have to do it means that I do drum up a huge amount of community support. Like, people go, whoa, you know, look at the amount of graft he's got to keep doing just to keep above the waterline. And people go, oh, I think I will actually chuck him a bone here. You know what I mean? He could probably do with it. And people do. So on the one hand, you go, well, if I had an easy ride on YouTube and was generating a couple of grand a month in ad revenue, it's nowhere near, and it never probably will be. But if I was, and I was like, well, I'm on easy street then, and there's people out there be like, that's a pittance to me, you know. But either way, regardless, if that was the case, there wouldn't be the community support, and it wouldn't turn into things like you specifically, Brian, having a discussion about whether or not the material that's being produced is appropriate for you to put your stamp of approval next to. Those sorts of communities don't get built unless there's a little bit of strife and turmoil. And I'm just trying to be a bit glass half full and say, no, there's a positive to be seen in being downtrodden and censored. You know, I'm just being a bit optimistic about it, or trying to be.
No, I understand. It's positive action, necessary positive action, and I get that. I mean, I can't attack you for that. You know, if you were doing it and you didn't need to do it, I'd be like, come on, why are you doing this? But I know you must do what you must do to keep the channel, to generate enough revenue to pay the bills.
Indeed. But we could talk about this all day. We did it last week, so it'll get a bit crass if we keep doing it. And I have bleated last week for whatever reason, probably because I'm poor, which is always going to be the case. So I could bleat about it all day long, but we're not. We're going to cover a video. So this one's called Blimey Cow. I think I've said that right. Not 100% sure. In either event, I'm going to put his link. The idea being that if he was to respond to us, he'd do the same for me and publish my link to his audience like I'm doing now. So if you are in the live stream chat, I know I've just literally done a call to action and asked you to go and toddle along to my own video, but in this instance, this is to share in the YouTube algorithmic love for Blimey Cow, if I'm saying it correctly. Please let him know, at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me, and although this seemed obvious when I say it that way, I'll spell it out in no uncertain terms. That is to say, all one word with an @ symbol, then Nathan Oakley 1980, all one word, sent me. And a positive message, as in, don't put him down if we've been particularly critical. Don't swear, because you'll just get immediately removed by the YouTube bots. But the idea is that you click on the link. Why isn't it showing? It's because my... I haven't sized that quite correctly. Let me just sort that out. There's the link, just to prove that I'm not just lying. Please click on it if you are watching live, and just let him know, at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. And I'll repeat this a couple of times so that people can actually go along to his video and let him know, at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. And there has been occasions when the video's been new, this one's 3 days old, where the videographer or the person associated with the videographer has literally come along to the live stream as a direct consequence of people going along. Also, QE's done a review response sort of thing when they go through the comments on one of the videos that we covered, because a load of my channel members and subscribers had toddled along to a videographer we were covering and let him know, at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. And QE went through those. So I'm not saying that you will get your comment responded to, but there is a reasonable chance, as it has happened literally in the last couple of days. So moreover, like I say, the main purpose in this is that if he was to respond, I would hope he'd do the same for me. Share the YouTube love and put a link to Nathan Oakley 1980's video, as I'm doing for him. So there we go. Hopefully that's about enough time for people to actually toddle along and do this. And we'll pop the video on and hopefully we'll get some responses. So that you're in the know, he's doing a comment response, if you can't tell by all my takeaways. But comment responses is what he's doing. And somebody in the comments has said, should I marry this person? They're potentially a flat earther. Dun, dun, dun. And this is his response to that. So there you go. That's enough lead in for you to not need the first couple of minutes of video. Anybody got any comment on it? It was Mush that shared it. Did you want to give us a preamble?
No, man, I don't know anything about the video, Nathan.
You just shared it blind? Outrageous.
I did.
Round. But can I believe him? I know it will come up over the years, and I don't want him to feel like he needs to hide it. But every time it comes up, it bothers me so much. What should I do?
Malnutrition is the world's most widespread health crisis.
Bloody ad, straight away.
It makes
How annoying. An unskippable 15-second ad right at the beginning. We have watched a couple of minutes, to be fair. Oh, another ad. We will get to the video, I promise.
You know, with the flat earthers, like, okay, I believe that the earth is round, okay? Wow. I don't talk about it all the time.
What, you don't express your beliefs in a flat earth or round earth all the time? Well, okay. I mean, that's category error for us straight away because we don't believe in a globe or a flat earth. It's measured flat. And those measurements turn into your globe belief that you don't often talk about.
But, like, it's almost like veganism, Josh. And I'm going to get a lot of people. I think you can talk about this a little bit more freely in 2024, Josh. When 2012, no, God help us, you couldn't say anything. But, you know, it's not nothing against the vegans, but we all know vegans talk about veganism.
He's not wrong. Yeah, when you find yourself being introduced to a vegan, there is a good chance that you'll find out they're a vegan pretty quickly. So he's not wrong, is he?
A lot, okay?
Would you say that's comparable to flat earthers, though? Anybody agree? I mean, I have plenty of interactions in my daily life, especially because I take my kids to various different home education classes at other people's houses. Some are great distances away, interacting with various other parents and kids all day long. And none of them know my position in terms of how Earth's measured and what I talk about. It's just never even come up, to my knowledge, not that I can remember. Anybody disagree? Are we like vegans that as soon as you introduce yourself, you've got to tell them that you think Earth's flat if you're a believer, or you know Earth's flat if you're like us?
No, I actually only told someone very recently, and I know them for 20 years.
Right. I mean, I think that's the comparison he's making, though. That flat earthers are like vegans. You immediately find out they're vegan. But I don't know. I just certainly don't agree.
Where people who's eating a diet that's like, you know, been normal for the past 1,000 to 6,000 years, maybe, Josh, then you don't talk about it. It's just a part of your life and you move on, okay? But the flat earthers, they have a certain passion where they bring it up all the time. I've been around people like that. And, you know, it makes up if you're a person like me who enjoys talking.
I mean, this is a stereotyping fallacy, obviously. You can give your examples where you've had individual interactions with people and how they may be like this. But as we've already covered, that's not me. And I sought anybody's affirmation that they would automatically introduce themselves as a flat earther, as your comparison with veganism, I think does stand with the comparison, at least the veganism bit. Yeah, I've met several vegans. I couldn't really stereotype the entire community with it. But there we go. I'm saying it's a reasonable comparison because I've met several vegans that have all told me that they're vegan straight away. Maybe my own standard is a bit lax here too.
Talking about kind of strange topics. It's an interesting topic of conversation, maybe once or twice. But if she's married to this guy and he's just bringing it up like every time they're like eating dinner and it's like on a flat plate and he just brings up a conversation about the flat earth because of a plate.
The best part is that she said he's...
I mean, this is his crappy hypothetical example, so I'm not going to bear any criticism to it. He's just coming up with a hypothetical example.
He's not quite there yet. He's thinking about it. Like, this is like a...
He's talking basically what's going on. He's watched a couple of YouTube videos. He's met a friend. This is...
How does this guy know this? He's divining the thoughts of the partner of a commenter, and he's decided that this guy's watched a couple of YouTube videos.
This is the thing that I appreciate about this guy. I like flat earthers because they seem like they genuinely want to find the truth and they're willing to ask questions that are hard to ask and maybe be kind of like
Yeah, and I don't necessarily agree with this either. We encounter plenty of flat earthers that just regurgitate the feast of nonsense that they came across with the videos that you're stereotyping the guy as having watched.
Excommunicated from certain, like, okay,
You like them because they get excommunicated for asking questions. That's why you like them. Strange reason to like somebody, but fine.
admire people like that. I enjoy the spirit, but it just feels a little off the mark to me. and so it's like great energy, but wrong application.
Not execution.
Yeah.
This is meaningless drivel. Does anybody extract anything of relevance from what he just said before I move on?
No.
Yeah, wrong execution. That's how it feels like to me. So I can see her being, believing that the earth is round is turned off by this.
It's like a
So her belief might step in the way of her potential love for a potential partner to reproduce with. I see. I mean, yeah, I would also say when I tell people that they're entitled to their beliefs, don't let your beliefs stand in the way of love. It's definitely not a good idea.
Quarterback launching that ball perfectly down the field for an interception. It's like the ball was thrown great.
But why'd you throw it to the other team? I personally would just use your discretion. Let me put it this way: if the flat Earth guy is talking about this once a week, then this is a problem to me. Okay, if he knows that you kind of disagree with this.
Okay, so if once a week the female in this, because that's the person leaving the comment, uses globe terminology just once a week, then what? Give her a miss? She's worth kicking to the curb. If she occasionally mentions, the atmosphere's a bit rough today. Yeah? If she talks about people all over the globe believing in something, you got to kick her to the curb if she does it more than once a week. Okay. I mean, this is a young, handsome, jock-looking fella, and maybe you're batting him off. But I doubt the majority of your audience are as handsome and as lovely as you and have the opportunity to just pick and choose based on their belief being expressed once or twice a week. I mean, this guy's standards are something else, aren't they? No, it's not us. It's worth mentioning for us. I mean, it's kind of not on topic, but still very amusing to me.
If he's
I remember being handsome too and batting him off, son. Doesn't last forever.
talking about it once a month, if he's talking about it once every 6 months, then whatever, I don't care.
It's like it's just a thing he thinks about sometimes. Doesn't affect his life.
Yeah.
But yeah, once a week.
In a way, I've also got to agree with him. I can't honestly remember. I think the subject of flat Earth with me and my wife does probably come up once or twice a year. That is to say that in spite of, she's not here at the moment, I think she's out at tennis with my two daughters, but occasionally she'll overhear something that's new and she might bring it up with me. Yeah? So we'll be eating dinner one day and she'll start asking me something about the stars or something along those lines, but it probably does only come up once or twice a year that she's asking me something about the subject. So on the one hand, I want to say it's an unreasonable standard. But on the other hand, if I say, well, if your beliefs aren't being considered in terms of whether or not you love a person, and in this case want to have kids with them, because he has discussed that, then this shouldn't come into it, and therefore wouldn't come up maybe more than once or twice a year. If you had a Muslim and a Christian married, for the sake of argument, and neither had converted, it might be the case that their individualistic religious beliefs might only come up once or twice a year when you go, oh, that's interesting, I didn't know that about your faith. But for the most part, it wouldn't ever be a contentious issue, and shouldn't be. It shouldn't be even a consideration if you're talking about love. I don't know, this is so, to me, it just seems so silly. Anybody else agree?
Yeah, this is stupid.
Well, if you know it's flat and the person you're with has a globe belief, that could be problematic.
No, that's exactly the situation I'm in. My wife has a globe belief. She expresses it as a belief and understands it's a belief, and will occasionally ask me about it. It's never caused a problem. I mean, that's one example. I'm the only example, maybe, but I don't know. But I'm just saying, that straight off the cuff, I would say, no, that's not a problem. My wife's never come out and said, I am a flat earther, or declared that as such. And, you know, she's happily talking to the kids about globe stuff and teaching them globe stuff, as will I. It's not like it's not really a part of our day-to-day life, as weird as that may sound. It's strange to say, right? Because I've got a show about it. You might think all I do all day is talk about flat Earth and point out the associations and anything I ever visualize or see or do. Actually, no, it couldn't be further from that. It was just, I don't know, there's a perception that this suddenly consumes people, because it does. It's just not the case for everybody. Just because you found out there's a massive deception doesn't mean it consumes your life. It certainly doesn't for me. It consumes my work.
Well, it does consume your life in a lot of ways, Nathan, because you have a show that's ongoing for close on a decade now, so it has consumed a lot of your life.
Yeah.
But I understand your situation where I can, like, my point being is this, right? I know it's flat. So if I'm with a girl and she believes it's a globe, how many times is she going to end up looking at me going, That doesn't make any sense. Or having to say, you have a point there. I mean, that can become a bit difficult for the person. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe I'm just talking rubbish.
Yeah, it's on a different
If
sideline.
you know it's flat, you don't have any belief about it. I know it is. I can show the measurements. I can show exactly how everything is done, all the geometry of it. Right? No bothers. I know that. So someone with a belief in something else, in it being something else, they can only. It's like they can only fail. Do you know what I mean? It's like you have to kind of stand there or sit there and watch the person's beliefs fail over and over again.
Yeah, it's a sideline to whether or not you should let it interfere with your love.
Yeah, he's in deep.
He's in deep.
We don't want anybody to talk about anything but Jesus himself once a week. Once a day, I mean, come on. If you're a creative person or someone wanting to start a business or someone who already has a business, then the box is based site as a you don't have noticing the thing and it went off.
Would you believe me if I told you that coffee?
A few months ago about having a hard time with a guy who's 30 who likes me. I'm 19 and we go to the same church. I told him we need to just be friends and nothing more, and he understands. But we hung out a few times since then. Last time I feel we crossed the lines of friendship. We did sunset photography near my house. While we were watching it, he kissed me on the head.
I think there's several other comment responses that have got nothing to do with Flat Earth. We'll just play to the end just to make sure this isn't another Flat Earth related one.
I told him that made me uncomfortable and not.
If you're watching live, I'm so sorry. This is the way it is. Sometimes you don't know if you're doing it cold. It might just be that he's used that as the title of the video, but not all of the video's comment responses associated. Either way, I've put a link to the video. There's 92 people currently watching. Please share this show, if you haven't done so already, and indeed let Blimey Cow know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. As I say, I've put a link to his video. If this is the end and we're signing off at this point, I don't know. We'll find out shortly.
Again, and he understood. We talked. I can't even imagine being in that situation. Like personally, as the girl, I can't, and as the guy, I can't. It's so uncomfortable and it's wrong. How can you misread the room so much that you're like perfect opportunity to kiss her on the head?
Yeah, I think we've done nothing else with the sum total of the Flat Earth content. So yeah, thank you very much. Interesting. Not a great deal of criticism towards him beyond a few stereotyping fallacies and such like. Yeah, good stuff. I enjoyed that. That was quite good. Please let him know. At Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. You can see his link going by in the YouTube live stream chat right now. Thanks, Mush. Interesting, if nothing else. People love to talk about flat earthers and how they're stupid and potentially not going to be a love interest as a result. It's amazing. Even in their own words, she doesn't let her globe belief get in the way of this. Okay. Anybody else notice
Nathan,
that?
I do have a video of me debating another pilot, and he had 270k followers. He actually did a reply to one of my other videos, and then he sort of claimed that he does account for Curvature. So I was like, I DM'd him, and I'm like, well, let's have a debate. And he accepted, and it actually happened. So it's an interesting one.
Where have you put the link? We'll have a look at that now. We've got enough time.
Yeah, because I was going to say that's pretty anticlimactic, right? So yeah,
it was a little bit, wasn't it? But it was all right. Yeah, if you can stick it in Discord live stream chat, somebody will hopefully post it in Master B, and we'll have a little listen.
I'll put it in Master B.
Are you in Master B already?
Yeah, I am.
Why aren't you in G Plus then?
Yay.
Why'd you join Discord if you're in Master B? Oh, don't worry about it. Anyway, post it in Master B, I'll bring it up. You can join the other panel. Maybe you were unaware. The link gets posted just before the live stream starts, and you can join the main panel if you want to. In any event, hopefully he'll post it in a second. There we go.
So yeah, I didn't know about that with the joining the panel thing. But yeah, I'm in master.
Drag the slider to do the puzzle. What? Just link me to Angels. Have you linked me to your front page as opposed to the video?
Oh, hang on. Let's check.
That's no worries. It's not like we're streaming live to an audience. No stress, no pressure. Okay.
I'll try that one.
Yeah, let's give it a go.
All right, you global pilots, listen here. You fly straight and level over the Earth, and you never take into consideration the curvature of the Earth.
I'm an airline pilot, and we do account for the curvature of the Earth. In straight and level flight, stick a bowling ball down the aisle. It will roll to the back of the plane. That's because the plane in level flight actually flies about 2 degrees nose up. The autopilot.
In level flight, the flight actually flies 2 degrees up with respect to horizontal in level flight. So he's just made two statements that prove a flat Earth. Is he demented?
Hey, Nathan, he didn't know what rigidity in space was. I had to teach him.
Didn't know how a gyroscope works.
Autopilot is constantly making adjustments to where the plane wants to go.
Look at the plane here, right? And now we're going to fly all the way to the equator over here. The plane's nose, relative to where it was before, is dipped down. So let's fly at a
Why are you so close on your mic? You're not here, all of that distortion.
pressure altitude around a globe without dipping the nose down and see what happens. All right, we're on the top. We're near North America. We fly around to the equator. Now, we're not going to drop the nose down because every pilot admits they'd never need to do that, so let's do it. We go, we end up 90 degrees to where we were before, and now the plane is facing out towards space. And now you're going to cry that gravity just magically tethers you along with the globe. Well, sorry, but that doesn't work either because there's something called the attitude indicator, which is this thing here, which has a gyroscope connected to it, which maintains rigidity in space. And if you were to tether around a globe, because it maintains rigid in space and because the gimbal base or the actual whole aircraft rotates around that gyroscope, you would see it on the artificial horizon, which never happens. If a pilot was to fly from North America to Australia, which are on opposite ends of the globe, the artificial horizon would show no change in orientation, proving that you just fly straight and level to your destination over a flat Earth.
Yeah, it's pitch attitude, but yeah.
Maintains rigidity in space, right? So if you were to tilt the plane up, down...
Why didn't you wait for him to answer?
Roll, it would show up on the attitude indicator, right? Okay. So if you were to fly from the North Pole or, to say Australia to the south under here, would your attitude indicator be upside down?
No, it wouldn't.
Welcome to Flat Earth. What happened? How come if the attitude indicator didn't flip upside down and maintain rigidity in space, you got a problem here?
Okay, because again, when you look at like this on a map, where the plane is literally it's like almost the length of the Earth, right?
What the hell's he babbling about? When you look on a map, it's almost the length of the Earth. What the hell is he babbling about?
He's complaining that my diagram, like they always do, it's just a non sequitur. Just because the plane looks big on my diagram, it's not going to be the same thing.
But his map will be a flat map, won't it?
Yeah, he's just trying to complain that my diagram, the
His
plane's
complaint is that it's not to scale. Yeah, I got that. But his appeal to overcome your not to scale globe Earth at 90 degrees, regardless of the scale, your point is that you're going to have the attitude indicator at 180 degrees from its original point if you're at the bottom of a sphere antipodal from your starting point. It doesn't matter about the scale. But his appeal to overcome that non sequitur rebuttal is, Well, on my flat map. Okay, on your flat map, it's flat.
Right, when you're...
Can we
And
both
1 second.
agree?
Sorry. Nathan?
Yeah.
Sorry. I have a critique as well. The attitude indicator wouldn't be upside down. It would be, with respect to the zero, that his pitch would be way below the zero. The attitude indicator
exactly.
would not be upside down.
It would be out completely, right? Is that right in saying that?
Well, he could never have an above horizontal pitch at any point. It would be horizontal at cruising altitude, and from that point, from that very moment, it would have to start being below horizontal.
Sorry, are you saying this because it's beyond the limits of the cage, or whatever they call it? Is it the cage that they call it?
No, to fly around the globe, mathematically, the only way you could do that would be when you first reach cruising altitude. For that very moment, you will be horizontal, but you won't be above horizontal. You can't be. This is the thing about it. You can't be above horizontal. And then from that very second on, there's a second-by-second accumulation of below horizontal pitch. This above horizontal pitch thing, that's only in reality, where they're generating lift over a flat plane. For a globe, none of that can happen. It can only be a below horizontal pitch that's accumulated more and more over time. So you're talking 7.24 degrees after 1 hour of flight at 500 miles per hour. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it makes the gyro is completely, nearly pointless at that point. But it only tells you how many. Do you know what I mean? It's ridiculous.
Gotcha.
The gyro, yeah.
Even if we shrink these planes down, you won't be able to see it, but it'll do the same thing. It's going to fly a curved line.
Yeah, just like a car when it goes up on a bridge, right? When it's going over the bridge, it's aimed like this, and it goes up there.
So if your attitude indicator maintains rigid in space, and you keep a positive attitude, right? You're not changing the plane's orientation in straight level flight. How is it you go from here to here without nosing down?
Oh, again, you do nose down, but it's a gradual. Because the plane in level flight actually flies about 2 degrees nose up.
You said...
That's that same dude. So when you point out that in order to be on a ball, you've got to nose down, he basically defies his own globe faith that he used in rebuttal in his original video. You having me on?
That the attitude indicator maintains rigid in space, right?
Yes. The attitude indicator just gives us reference to our pitch relative to the horizon. That's it.
Okay. Well,
yeah, pitch with respect to the horizon. Welcome to Flat Earth.
Yeah, the attitude indicator that he's talking about, that zero, that can't be parallel to the plane of the horizon if the horizon is not an horizon, but the a curved geometric leading edge of a globe.
Exactly.
They can't be parallel to each other.
He's using it as an axiomatic principle to level the plane. Welcome to Flat Earth.
if you were to see the pitch data for your plane flying, would it be nosing down in that pitch data to follow the curvature of the Earth, like you said before?
Again, not really, because I also said in the video.
He just literally said it would do, and you wouldn't notice. Yes, it would. It's just gradual. You don't notice. Well, would it show it in the pitch data? Not really. So you would have it, and you wouldn't notice, and it wouldn't really be in the data. Is this guy a muppet? No,
What
he's just... Hold on.
Sorry.
No, he's not a muppet. He's just screwed because of the pitch data. You don't nose down around a bloody globe Earth. That's a fact. So you need to believe it, though. You need to believe it's imperceivable. Yeah, you just don't notice that we're nosing down. So we nose down and we record it in the data. No, not really. So it's just a belief that you nose down and you don't really notice, even though you can document it as not doing that. Yeah, that's what you got to do if you're a globe believer. That's what the pitch data does. This is the power of the pitch data. Yeah, Brian.
Apologies, Nathan. I thought you were finished at that point. No, I was just actually going to state that what he is doing is trying to hijack, this is what they're all trying to do, hijack the pitch data and claim a zero difference result. So they're trying to make you believe that a straight line and a curved path are the same thing. That's what they're trying to make you believe.
At Duncan McLeod, he says, reference to what? Lol. Yeah, horizontal plane. He's already said it, the horizon. He needs that principle to hold true as an axiom. That's what he's referencing. He's referencing it to maintain level flight, nose up with respect to it. Thanks for the super chat.
That's why I always use the word horizontal as opposed to level. Because when it comes to horizontal, they will try to mess you around. If you say level, some of them will just go, yeah, and agree with you, because they are going to insert their crazy version of level, right? That isn't real in reality, because they don't want to admit that horizontal is level and level is horizontal. But if you say the word horizontal, that's when they're really screwed, because then they've got to make up all kinds of crazy nonsense on the spot.
We're talking about how well this knife cuts, but somebody's got to wield it. So props to Angels of Light. This is very, very effective. We'll continue to listen, but you wielding this knife, and kudos to you for wielding it in such an effective manner.
You can descend, but I'm saying you can descend.
Wait, hang on. That's a major fault.
I can descend the airplane, and the nose is still pitched up.
Sorry, you can descend, pitch up. What?
Yeah, coming into landing, they're going to be pitched up. They're always pitched up. The only time that they will pitch below horizontal is if they have to drop in altitudes from time to time. And they will do that briefly, and everyone will have to be in their seats with the seatbelts on. What he's talking about is coming into land and taking off. Yeah, most of the time they're always pitched up. There's only the very small amount of time they're pitched down, and that is purely for a descent. You know what I mean? So him saying, I can descend, you can descend by pitching up and pulling back on the power. Yeah, you can descend like that. What has that got to do with the horizontal you haven't broken? He hasn't broken horizontal. That's the point. 0 on the pitch data is horizontal. He hasn't broken that throughout his flight.
Attitude is not necessarily an indication. When I come into land, I'm descending. My nose is about 3 degrees up.
Welcome to Flat Earth. Every time you say you don't need to nose down, that's proving. So let's say this flat line is.
Hang on 1 second. He said if he's coming into land, his nose is about 3 degrees up. Maybe at the very last, not even at that. No, it's about 10 degrees. Or 10, maybe 12 degrees. 10 degrees, anyways, for a landing. What's he talking about? Is this guy one of these pretend pilots?
You talking about when they flare the plane to give a nice cushy landing? Is that what he's talking about?
Well, he said earlier on he flies with about 2 degrees above horizontal pitch. If he's a commercial pilot for a start, it won't be 2. It'll be between 3 and 5. And if he's coming into landing, it'll be kind of 10, 11 degrees. He won't go too high because it'll cause a stall. This could be one of these people who are pretending to be a pilot. Or they're a pilot of some kind, but they're not a commercial pilot. Or God knows what kind of nonsense. I don't know. I'm iffy about this guy.
He claimed to be a commercial pilot, by the way. But yeah.
Well, look, I was in this subject 3 months and I had about 8 people tell me they're astronauts. You know what I mean? So people will make those claims.
The furthest?
Yeah, with a positive attitude.
I mean, I can show you. I was just showing, what's his name, Caleb? I was just showing.
Like in miles, I guess. Like how far? Like where?
So in miles, this one is about 4,800. This one I did to Europe. So
what's the straight linear distance? Flat.
See, I just asked him. I don't know if you guys got that properly, but what I asked him was, what's the furthest distance you've flown with a positive pitch? He just said it was 4,800 miles. Welcome to Flat Earth.
Yeah, the mile designation and the attitude above the horizon, which can be verified by pitch data, proves Earth is flat with every single aspect of that example that he just detailed. But he's holding up a globe projection. So in his mind, because he's got Google Earth up, the straight linear distance that you detailed in miles is suddenly curved? I'm afraid not.
Oh, but again,
4,800 miles.
Yes, but again,
wait. You flew with a positive pitch for 48,000 miles.
To maintain level or nose up, to climb or even sometimes descend. You
need a flat Earth to reference for all of those. He doesn't even know what he's saying, does he? Fly level? No. You don't ever fly level if you're on a globe. There is no flying level on a globe, but you fly level. Or nose up with respect to level. Horizontal, Brian. My bad.
You're obsessed with the pitch.
Yeah, because it proves you're flying with respect to a horizontal plane of reference. That's what the pitch shows. Yeah? You nose up with respect to it for the whole 48,000 miles.
Nathan, I don't want to be the level Nazi and telling people, don't use level. I'm just saying to make sure that everyone understands and that that person agrees that the zero on the attitude indicator is horizontal. You know what I mean? Because he'll quite happily say level, and it's level with the center of a globe, which is not level. That's you know what I mean. We're going through it for years with them. That's not level. But a lot of these people are okay with saying level, yeah, because they're talking about their belief, and yet the average person thinks that they're talking about reality.
This plane at the equator, relative to where it started from, is nose down, right? In space, in the air?
Yes, the one that looks like the Independence Day plane, yes. If you
Yeah, you mean the one that's got to be nosing down and isn't in your pitch data? Is this another appeal to scale?
That's how long is that flight? Like,
No. So
15 hours?
So if it's nose down relative to where it started, you'd have to adjust for curvature, right?
Yes, and like again, like you're getting.
Yeah, you don't. You don't though, do you? That's the problem. Yeah. Bosh, pitch data. There you go. You don't.
Hang on. But you just said you flew 4,800 miles and you had a positive pitch. Do you know how much curvature is in 48,000 miles?
Right, but again, did you also see in the video how I showed you right here? So if I was to show you that right there, right? So I've done this before. I've taken a video and sped it up, and it goes like this. It's like a little like a precision like thing like this. It goes like this. So it goes up, down, up, down, up, down. All it cares about is maintaining that altitude. That's it. It does.
Altitude? What? The height above the horizontal plane of reference in feet or meters?
I get it, by the way.
Not care about anything else.
How often does it go below horizontal, below zero?
It depends. Not very often. Sometimes. But again,
dude, you're proving my point every time. You're going to be a good flat earther.
The autopilot is constantly making adjustments to where the plane wants to go. Over a matter of 5 hours, it's not enough time in there to actually notice a curvature there.
So,
1 second. The autopilot's doing nothing but holding the exact position it was left at. That's what autopilot does. The whole point of the autopilot is to hold the same altitude. And it will hold that with the same pitch that it's left at. That's what the autopilot does. The autopilot was on for those 2 hours from 8:05 to 10:05 in the pitch data. And there's basically no change to the pitch. The autopilot just holds the pitch, holds the airspeed, and that automatically holds the altitude. The pilot gets to that position, then presses autopilot, just like the cruise control in your car. Right? You press on cruise control, it holds the speed. Whether it's going up a hill, down a hill, whatever, it holds the speed. That's what it does.
And the Earth doesn't drop down and away from you because the Earth is not curved. You just maintain that same altitude with the same pitch.
Have you got a link to this guy's channel? Did you say he got a YouTube channel?
He's got a TikTok, yeah.
I don't want to send people to TikTok. It's actually against YouTube's terms of service. I don't know if you're aware of that.
Oh, is it? I don't know that.
Yeah, you're not allowed to send people off platform. So YouTube's whole raison d'etre is to be keeping you on their platform as long as possible. So if I share a link that says, go to this other platform, that's actually against their terms of service. Well, not a lot of people know that. But there you go. Anyway, I think we've covered enough of that. Was there any more chunks of him talking that we needed to cover? There's only 60 odd seconds.
At the end, at the end, I just show on Google Earth, and I draw a line that is 4,800 miles, and I basically show how much curvature that has that he didn't account for, which is the end of the video. But yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of against my methodology. I like to just point out that it's flat and that's how it's been measured. You're a bit like Brian in that regard. You like to show them how it's not curving, which is fine. You know, everyone does it their own way.
No, that's not what Brian does. Brian shows them the proof that it's flat and then shows them with their responses how their responses fail to the proof that it's flat.
I actually have a lot of footage of me debating him. This is like a little chunk. I spoke to him for like 2 hours. And there's more. Like there's literally like 7 more clips where he literally proves it's flat with what he says. the poor guy, like, he didn't know pretty much anything. He like is crazy. It's like he is like literally just a bus driver learning to use his machine, right? But to fly over the Earth, he doesn't know how to. Dude, I'm telling you, he didn't know what rigidity in space was. When I asked him in this video, he actually didn't know what it meant, because afterwards he asked me, he goes, "What is this rigidity in space thing you're actually talking about?" I'm like, "Wait, you don't know what that is?" I had to explain it to him.
But at the same
He can't
token,
be a pilot.
no, it can be. He doesn't need to know what that means. The principle in operation that the gyroscope offers him is what he needs to know, and he's demonstrated that in spades, right? He understands the principle to the point where he's making our flat Earth point for us when he talks about it. Now, he doesn't know how that doesn't connect to a globe. He thinks it does. He doesn't know how it physically functions mechanically, gyroscopically. He doesn't need to. That's why this cognitive break is occurring with you, because he doesn't know. But he doesn't need to be a pilot. So I don't like this kind of crossover where people assume that pilots are engineers. They're not.
Yeah. I thought pilots would know that. I honestly did.
You're not the first to say it.
I'd like to see his video where he filmed the attitude indicator and he sped up the film. I'd like to see that.
I think I put it in the. I'm not sure if it was the one he showed on his reply to me.
Oh, that would be awesome. What is showing?
Yeah, that's the thing. I asked him. Dude, I asked him for that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, because if we've got that real time, or it's not real time, but what he took in real time and sped up, that's the visual representation of the pitch data, isn't it, Brian? Very nice. Yes, please.
Yeah, from a commercial
Exactly.
Yes, please. I'll have that. Yeah, can we get hold of that? I'll take that, please.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
I actually asked him for it. I want to ask him to do a time lapse of it, like for an hour or something, because I think he said he had a 30-second one. It wasn't the time lapse, but it was just 30 seconds.
No,
so I want him to do like a full hour.
Yeah. So 30 seconds could represent quite a significant period of time. I'll take that all day long. That's excellent. If he's got his pitch data on the visual representation that he gets in the cockpit, I'll take that every day of the week. Yes, please. Yes, please. To put next to the data itself. Oh, yes, please.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because
I got a little snippet of it.
Filmed it, and then when you speed it up, you can see that it does small little changes, but it never. You know what I mean? It will do small little tiny changes, but it won't ever be. It'll never be going below horizontal.
Below.
The changes will be all erratic as well. It won't be specific.
Yeah, it's never going to drop below horizontal. Like he already admitted that anyway. Like he wanted to say it does, but he knows it doesn't.
Well, there will be times when it will, but it'll only be brief times when they're descending, and everyone will have to be in their seats with the seatbelts on, as is shown in the pitch data. That's what's so. That pitch data is brilliant because it has everything in it. Because it could have been just look. I would have been quite happy, actually, to be honest with you, with a 9-hour flight where basically 8.5 hours of it was just straight and level. But this data, the data we have, shows that when they pitch down, there's a change in altitude. So pitching down creates a change in altitude in the negative. Do you know what I mean? You're descending. So if there's pitching down going on, that means you will be descending. If you're not pitching down, you're flying in a straight line. That's it.
Yeah, I saw that on the pitch data. Yeah, definitely. Like when the plane just briefly goes below horizontal, you see the altitude, and it directly correlates to it going down and descending.
Yeah, that's why I put the two in the presentation. I put it together where I have both the pitch data and the altitude section. I took them out and amalgamated the two together to show that the one is directly correlating to the other. The altitude is directly correlating to the pitch, because it has to. They're just trying to make people believe that a straight horizontal line can be a circle. That's all they're trying to do. That's the basis of it. They're trying to claim a zero difference result. Like I've even had a commercial pilot. Now this guy is definitely a commercial pilot, right? He's had decades as a commercial pilot. I've been dealing with for years. Not Wolfie, someone else. on YouTube, and he tried to ask me, what would the pitch data look like on a flat Earth? Right? It's like, are you for real? Do you think I'm that stupid? I said, nice try. You're trying to hijack the pitch data for a globe and have me come up with some other pitch data. The pitch data, what you see in the official NTSB pitch data that I produced, that I got from one person on your side, that is what you will see over a flat Earth. Where's your globe pitch data? So they're trying to hijack the pitch data and just claim a zero difference result. You know, you would be counting for curvature, but you'd never know it. You know what I mean? It is rotating, but you would never know it. You know, there's nothing there to show it. There's no effects of it. There's nothing there. You don't notice it. You don't feel it. You know, but it is happening. You know, this kind of thing. This is what they want you to believe. Dropping below, like any pitch below horizontal is a descent. I even showed that a couple of years ago. Just 1 second, Angels. I even showed that a couple of years ago in a video that I got it from Boeing, where they were stating that a pitch below horizontal is officially a descent. Anything that's a pitch below horizontal is officially a descent. Officially, in Boeing, Lockheed, anyone, officially, it's a descent. Now, you can't fly around the globe and not pitch below horizontal. But every time they pitch below horizontal, they're descending towards the Earth. That is only possible if the Earth is a flat plane.
Yeah, exactly. And he said, he said he flew 4,800 miles with a positive pitch, right? That's about 2,500 miles of drop on their supposed globe that he didn't account for.
You're not going to get a response from me when you bring that sort of thing up.
No, it's just yeah, okay, it's flat then. That's all you had to say at that point. Like, it's flat. Because you know what? So, like, I did show the amount of drop that would happen over those 2 hours with that show on the pitch data. I did show that in GeoGebra on a globe and all the rest of it for the visual for people to see as part of the presentation. But I don't need to bring that up in reality. Like, if I'm talking to one of them, I don't need to bring it up. Like, is horizontal a curved line? You know, if they say yeah, then I can just laugh at them. You know what I mean? If they say no, I say, welcome to flat Earth. It's that simple. They're the two responses. I don't need. You can look at my channel. Look at even my most recent video, which is directly connected to the pitch data. Look at the nonsense that's in there, and then go back to the video before that, which is connected to their responses to the pitch data presentation. And in the video, the mirror I did of the pitch data presentation. Look at the responses in there. Look at what's going on in there. You know, anyone that's claiming horizontal is a curved line, you can only laugh at them.
Yeah, are they trying to claim that because of gravity or whatever, when the plane is going around the globe, it's like resetting horizontal or something?
Yeah, but the problem with that is I addressed that in my responses. That's one of the things they try to claim, right? That I knew they were, because I've heard that from years ago, right? But they don't understand. They don't even understand what the whole purpose of the pendulous vanes is to create extra rigidity for the gyroscope. So they're claiming a gyroscope that's fluid in space. But no, if that's zero on the attitude indicator, let's say you set that with the autopilot to 3 degrees above, right, the zero. If that zero is changing its position, its pitch in relation to itself. So horizontal is changing its orientation in relation to horizontal, right? That's how ridiculous it is. But if that's changing, that's a mechanical instrument that's changing its pitch position. That doesn't mean that the plane is following the mechanical instrument. I mean, if the plane doesn't follow the gyro is just purely a spun-up reference for horizontal. When that changes, if autopilot is on, the autopilot doesn't follow it. So what would happen in that circumstances, over the course of 20 minutes, half an hour, what would happen is because the zero would be pitching down away from the original 3 degrees above position, right? So if that zero pitches down 2 degrees, now the plane is 5 degrees above. If you understand what I mean.
Yeah.
Because the plane,
it would just
like, Unless the pilot is following the zero, is sitting there constantly following the zero, and the plane is a constant downward pitch, which it was going to have. To follow that zero, they have to pitch down below the initial horizontal, right? And to follow to keep in line with that moving zero, they would have to be there constantly watching it and doing it. You can't go to the toilet or get a cup of coffee because the plane is going to start rising in altitude because your pitch is getting higher above that zero. You know what I mean?
Exactly,
You're going up in altitude. It doesn't like just look at my video. You can see it. See the responses in there. Look at the video.
Yeah, I get exactly what you're saying, and this is
the outcome of what they're claiming.
Yeah, it's so silly. Like that, you can't claim that the plane is flying over a globe, but you're not adjusting for curvature, right? Like, I just don't understand how these globers don't see this. Like, it's a nail in the coffin, like another nail in the coffin. It's pretty much like, I think it was Nathan said it. It's a Black Swan 2.0 argument. The pitch data. It's a destroyer, right?
Yeah,
you
I
can't
people
claim
say that to be in flat sides. Go on, sorry.
Yeah, you can't claim that gyroscope maintains rigid in space, but then in the same sentence you say no, it's curving around the gravity vector as well, because then you're relinquishing the fact that it maintains rigid in space. You're taking that away when you say that. Even the pilot, this one, I told him, he tried to kind of claim that. I'm like, dude, well, we don't need a gyroscope now. It doesn't maintain rigid in space now. It's useless.
Yeah, but even the arguing about the gyroscope, that's my point, you see, what I was trying to say there a few minutes ago. Even that is pointless. If they're claiming the gyroscope is now fluid in space and changes its orientation in relation to itself, so then it's pitching below the horizontal that it was at to create a new horizontal that's at a different pitch angle to the old horizontal, right? As crazy as that is, that doesn't mean that the plane automatically follows that gyro. The plane is set right to the reference the gyro was at, right, at autopilot. If that gyro changes its position by 3 degrees, goes down, let's say it changes the zero by 3 degrees below the initial zero after half an hour or whatever, then that doesn't mean that the plane, the autopilot followed it. It doesn't follow it. It holds the same reference, the same horizontal it was following, it's holding. So if that claimed horizontal is changing, which is impossible, then that doesn't make any difference to the plane. The plane is still in the same orientation and the same pitch above the initial horizontal it was in. That's how it works. That's what I'm saying. Autopilot wouldn't even exist in the way it is at present if that was the situation, right? And pilots would have to be there constantly following the zero.
Okay, I'm just going to do a couple of quick shout-outs. So I want to shout out Michael, Gary, Thor, Liam, and Joseph for hitting me up on PayPal while the show's literally running. So Joseph hit me up and said, here are some money via PayPal. So thank you very much. I will send you all emails thanking you for your contributions and kindness and generosity. So thank you very much. Just wanted to do a quick shout out for those of you who've hit me up on PayPal. Thank you very much indeed.
Yeah, and this argument they do with the pendulous veins is just a complete non sequitur. Like you said, pendulous veins just give extra rigidity in space, but they're trying to claim, because I can do a barrel roll and it knocks the gyroscope back. It's adjusting for the curvature. Well, no, right? Also, pendulous veins, even though that we shouldn't even be talking about them at all, like when they bring them up, but pendulous veins were invented 25 years after the attitude indicator. So it's a complete non-sequitur. Some planes don't even use it.
I know. I mean, but pendulous veins are just a damper system. And I know they were invented 25 years way after. It wouldn't even matter if it was 1 year. Do you know what I mean? The point is that they weren't in existence when the original planes were in existence. All they do is work off a vacuum. They just hold the down direction via vacuum. They're just purely, the whole purpose of them is to make sure that the gyro continually holds horizontal and doesn't change its own orientation. That's the stupid thing about it.
The pilot didn't
Sorry?
wrap his head around that. The rigidity in space wasn't his strong suit, was it? Angels.
He didn't know what rigidity in space was, and then afterwards, when I'd spoken to him for like 2 hours and he'd proven flat Earth like 10 times, I'm like, as a joke, I'm like, do you know what pendulous veins are? And he goes, nope.
Say to you, Angels, I like your videos, and I like that you're dealing with these people on TikTok. But I would say the best thing for you to do, if someone's coming at you, including this guy, even though you've talked to him in the past, who's claiming to be a commercial pilot, you tell him, prove it. Because there's so many bullshitters out there, right? And I did this to loads of people on YouTube who are coming forward saying, I'm a commercial pilot. Prove it, right? If there's certain things that, if they can't prove it, then go away. Because the people I ended up talking to, there was about 4 or 5 commercial pilots, and they were genuine commercial pilots. Now, they're crazy people in some ways, but they're still commercial pilots. You know, Woodley's definitely a pilot. Trevor Austin, definitely a pilot, and there was 3 others that disappeared. I can't. They definitely fly or can fly a commercial airliner. Whether they do it as they know about it. Like I even had Trevor Austin, who's the last commercial pilot that's in my comments these days. Even he corrects the ballers sometimes when they're trying to correct me when they're wrong. He knows his knowledge on the situation is, he's definitely a commercial pilot, or at least has that level of knowledge.
Sorry to interrupt again. Just another shout out to Philip. I don't know why I've had a couple of people smashing PayPal while we're live. I mean, I'm happy to read them out. It doesn't normally happen, so just because literally a couple of people have smashed the PayPal link while we've been live. But Simon, Philip, thank you very much. It says, for my good mate Nathan, really appreciate the support. Thank you so much for these PayPals. I don't know why. It's like buses. None of them come and then suddenly there's a whole bunch of them all at once. Well, by a whole bunch, I mean 2.
Who cares? Just count it up.
It's not normally a regular occurrence that people literally hit PayPal while I'm live. So I don't normally. It's not.
I want everyone to hit the PayPal because Nathan's done a lot of work.
Indeed, but I'm going to round out the live show. I don't want it to be seemed mercenary and just staying live just so I can e-beg longer on PayPal, as there's been a couple of generous souls. But I am going to round out on that note. So if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley premiering streams, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow.
Some stock account on YouTube is an astronaut.
I've heard it all too, Brian. I'm a scientist is the most common. I'm a scientist.
It was a big one too. I'm a scientist.
Absolutely, Neil.
I like the way you use the positive element of the PayPal to switch up the game on us and round out.
Well, it's just just by chance there was a couple of PayPals that came
the
through.
laugh of guilt.
And if I just say, oh, look, 2 PayPals have come in while I'm live, I must stay live for 2 more. No. The live show is 20 minutes over anyway. We were supposed to do an hour. We've done an hour and 20. Well, that reminds me, we only went over 20 minutes because I was making the thumbnail while we were live and I lost track of time. So I might as well use that thumbnail. I'll do that now.
Yeah, this pilot, I think he is a real pilot, but I think he's like, I asked him, one of my first questions to him was like, how long have you been a pilot for? And I believe he said it was like 17 years or something. But yeah, and then afterwards
in a mental home. You know what I mean? Maybe he was a pilot in a mental home for 17 years. You don't know with these people.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah. I mean, he kind of gives off those vibes of like someone that's actually not a pilot, but has been hired to like make these stupid videos.
Yeah, what's the point? My point to you is this, right? What is the point in wasting your time and your arguments on people who unless they can support that they are a commercial pilot? Like they have to prove they're commercial, because even though Nathan might say, well, look, pilots aren't engineers. Listen, there has not been one actual commercial pilot I spoke to that didn't understand the basic workings of a gyroscope. So the fact that this guy didn't know what you meant by rigidity in space when it comes to the gyroscope, That tells me that this guy, and when his pitches were all wrong, right? He's 2 degrees above. That's not 2 degrees above horizontal when you're in cruising, at cruising altitude, is flying faster than cruising speed, right? That's a flying faster position. 3 to 5 degrees is flying at cruising speed. Above 5 degrees, let's say 5 to 7, is flying slower than cruising speed. If you want to hold the same altitude. So if you're holding the same altitude, if you want to fly faster, you have to pitch down. If you fly slower, you have to pitch up. If you want to hold cruising speed, let's say 500 miles an hour, it's going to be between 3 and 5 degrees. So him saying 2 degrees instantly was a red flag to me. And then him saying, when I come into land, it's 3 degrees. No, landing is about 10 degrees. You know, so
Yeah, by
things
the
like
way,
that,
Brian,
I don't trust the guy. Sorry?
He did actually say what you said. When flying straight and level, like if he wanted to slow down, he would have to increase the pitch. He did say that. He did actually say what you just said. But maybe I don't know. Maybe he misspoke when he said
His pitches are wrong
landing.
for reality. Like, what's he going to do if he's flying with a 2 degrees above horizontal pitch, right? If he's flying with a 2 degrees above horizontal pitch at cruising speed, at cruising altitude, if he wants to speed up, what does he pitch to? He could maybe pitch
He says
to
he
0.
pitches down.
Yeah, but if he's speeding up, if he wants to increase his speed, what's he going to pitch to? Is he going to pitch to 0.5 degrees above horizontal? Will that generate the... Maybe. I mean, you can once you're not going below horizontal, but the average commercial plane is flying at 3 to 5 degrees above horizontal. When they increase the speed, they push down to 2, 1.5 at most. And if they're decreasing speed, they'll go up to 7, 6, 7. You know what I mean? It's like, it makes no sense. His pitches are wrong. And what he said when it came to 3 degrees coming into land, like maybe at the very last moment when you're on the tarmac, when your wheels are on it, you're 3 degrees above the tarmac. You know what I mean? You're horizontal at that point. It's parallel with the tarmac. But other than that, you're not coming in at 3 degrees. You're coming in at 10. I mean, it's just his pitches are wrong. I'm just saying, don't waste your time with people pretending to be things they're not. Because at that point, your arguments and all your energy is going towards someone who's a fraud. Do not do that. Stick to, I only debate these people if they pay me. They must pay me. Since the start of 2022, they must pay me for my time. And they must pay handsomely for my time. And the reason that is because Wolfie 6020 wasted my time twice in the space of 3 years. Right? Wanting to have a debate, then not having a debate, and messing me around, and wanting to try and use things as character assassination and blah, blah, blah. And he's actually a commercial pilot. He was at least a military pilot, and now he's commercial or whatever way. Right? He's a pilot enough, right? But I'm not wasting my time with anyone, right? With anyone, unless they're paying me for it. And I'm certainly not going to waste my time with someone who's pretending to be something they're not. You know what I mean? Don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. Sorry?
Yeah, the guy was actually really nice and all that. Honestly, he, I believe he is an actual pilot. And next time I talk to him, I will, because now he's sorry.
You have to know.
I'll get him. I'll get him to prove it. I'll get him to show his license and everything. But I believe he's a pilot.
I'll tell you what.
The reason...
I'll tell you what you do. I'll tell you what to do. Go to my videos. Go to the comments. Look for a guy called Trevor Austin. You'll find him in there. He comments constantly. Right. Trevor Austin. He's a retired pilot. Ask him how you would verify someone as a pilot. What question could you ask them? Ask him to give you 3 questions, and he will do that. Say, well, if I want to make sure, if I'm going to debate someone that's claimed to be a commercial pilot on TikTok, what questions could I ask them? And what answers should I expect if they're a commercial pilot? And he'll give you the answers. Even though he's a baller, he'll still give you the answers. Something like, ask them this. And if they don't give you that answer, that means they're not a commercial pilot. Something to do with, the inner workings of being a pilot, things they have to know. That's how because you need that, because you'll have other than that, you'll only have time wasters. All I'm trying to do is stop you wasting your own time. Because this fella sounds like a BSer, to be honest with you. I'm not putting down what you're doing. Don't get me wrong. I'm not putting you down what you're doing. I understand you're tearing TikTok apart. I get that, right? But I'm just saying, don't allow yourself to be drawn in by bullshitters.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Actually, you know, I didn't want to upload the video to TikTok. I'm actually going to make it hidden again, like so only I can see it. It's not going to be public because this guy actually, I want him to actually convert to flat Earth, and he looks like I feel that he'll actually be able to do it, and that's why I don't
there you
actually
go.
want to
That's
put.
the problem you have. You're trying to get him to convert.
Yeah, yeah.
Why? Why?
I just that's what I feel like I'll need to do. But yeah, I mean, everyone's got their own thing. But he seemed really nice. He was actually usually all the other pilots I've debated get so angry and annoyed and hate life, and you know he was all right. He was even though he
maybe
he
because
got
he's not
flat
really a
smacked about
pilot.
10 times.
Maybe he's happy because he's fooling you.
Yeah,
You know what I
that's the
mean?
thing. I'll get him to prove it,
I'm
and
just trying
then
to get you to not waste your time. I just don't want you to have to waste your time. Now, you're putting in the effort to debate somebody. The least they should do, if they're claiming to be something, whether it be an engineer, surveyor, pilot, whatever, you know, navigator, prove it. You don't have to give me your name and your details, where you live. Just prove that you are the thing you claim to be. It's that simple. Do you know what I mean? After that, then you can tear them apart. I don't know why you're looking to convert them. I couldn't give a damn about converting them.
yeah, because you know, it'd be cool. I like that's what I feel. That's my purpose. I think on TikTok, not really convert, right, but to plant seeds and then get people to think. You know, but
well,
I mean,
if this person,
everyone's
look, it's go on.
Yeah, so basically, you know, if I can get a globe believing pilot to be like, oh, jeez, I thought I was flying over a globe the whole time and the Earth is flat, then that's a win for me. Like I feel like I've done something. You know what I mean? Like I've helped someone. But and usually I wouldn't be like that towards most people. Like specifically, like not uploading something. But for this guy, I feel like I want to do it because he actually very cordial, very nice, and like he goes, he'd probably be able to have a beer with us and like agree on like everything else because he said he was into other conspiracies, you know, and he doesn't trust the government, right?
Well,
So that's why.
Flat Earth is not a conspiracy. Number one. Number two, yeah, when he's having a beer with you, he can tell you all about his career in I don't know, ergonomics.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because he has a different career every 10 minutes because he's a total bullshitter.
Yeah, and I agree with you, by the way.
This guy does not come across as the real deal, Angels. That's all I'm saying. Honestly, take my advice. Go speak to Trevor Austin. Even though he's a baller, just tell him you want to be able to verify if someone's a commercial pilot if you're talking to them. Just ask him what kind of questions. Give me a list of 2 or 3 questions, and Trevor Austin will be honest and just give you the list. Because you want to be able to verify that somebody is really the real deal. Otherwise, you don't want to spend 2 hours talking to someone who's some pretender. What's the point of that? You're not getting nothing out of it then.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah. Oh, by the way, yeah, I definitely agree with you. Flat Earth is not a conspiracy; it's just it's just fact.
Yeah, there's one question you can always ask a commercial pilot, and that's about what is the FAA regulation for flying at flight level 41.1 requirement for pilots in the cockpit?
What's the answer to that? Is that like, yeah, can you tell me the answer?
Yeah, any commercial aircraft that flies over 41,000 feet the pilots have to wear air masks, oxygen masks constantly in the cockpit, which is why most pilots don't like to fly at 41,000 feet because it interferes with their coffee and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah, I'm pretty sure he actually mentioned that he does fly at that altitude, 41,000. Pretty sure, but I did remember seeing in his actual channel that he has a channel where he says he was wearing a mask. I remember seeing it. So this is like, yeah, I mean, he could be. Look, I think he actually is legit, but he just was one of those pilots that just had no clue. And like how, what's the word? He didn't realize that flat Earth is like the real deal. Basically, he thought it was just, you know.
He's no different than anyone else. He's even if it doesn't matter if he's a pilot or not. He's attached to his religious globe, and he'll do anything to protect it. And it's simple as that.
Or he just doesn't want to be grounded as a pilot by having crazy thoughts, right?
Yeah, it's pretty funny that in a, I don't know, like I could see the guy changing and be like, oh, I'm a flat earther now. And then he starts making flat earth content and then he gets censored because he's almost got 300,000 followers replying to like people, you know,
So
like me.
Angels, I just want to say I don't think it's actually I gotta disagree with Brian. I don't think it's a waste of your time because the audience is what's important, right? And you getting the information out there to your audience, and at the same time exposing the lack of knowledge from these so-called pilots, right?
Exactly.
So
This
I don't
whole
think it's a waste of
reason.
time at all.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree with you, man. Because like the whole reason I got into this was because I wanted it to be like Witsit, Caleb, and all these flat Earth debaters, right? I wanted to debate and become good at it to like expose it, you know, to tell people the truth. That's so what you just said. Yeah, is really true. That's what I want to do.
Let me correct then. Why I'm right? Because if I'm an audience member and I'm hearing this is, I didn't say this, but this is the reason, and I'm hearing angels pull apart this guy, and then it turns out I'm looking at this is brilliant, they pull apart this commercial pilot, and I look in the comments and someone says, that guy is not a pilot, he's only pretending, right? Here who he really is, right? Some baller guy, right? And yeah, it's me, blah, 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 because this has been done in the past. Then I still haven't heard angels against a commercial pilot. So then at that point, whatever angels are saying, I don't know what the commercial pilot would say because this guy is not a commercial pilot. So at that point, angels then loses credibility, the credibility I gave him when I thought he was debating an actual pilot. That's the point I'm trying to make. You understand?
Okay, I get you.
It's from the audience's point of view. If I'm reading those comments and someone is pointing out this guy is actually not a pilot and that this stupid flat earther believed he was, right, a real pilot would destroy this flat earther, blah, blah, blah. I'm an audience member. I don't hear angels against this, so it's not a real commercial pilot. So then I kind of go, well, maybe a real commercial pilot will be able to destroy this flat earther. So then the real commercial pilot, 1 second, the real commercial pilot that you would have been against gets to avoid the argument. You understand what I mean? Because this idiot is standing in pretending to be that person. Just like the real scientists wouldn't deal with flat earthers because they're doing science all day, blah, 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 when all they are is pretenders. But the general public don't realise that people like Brian Cox doesn't come near us because we show them up to be pretenders. But they're under the impression, oh, well, the likes of Brian Cox, they would destroy a flat earther. Really, how? You know what I mean? Because if Brian Cox had to address a flat earther, that's someone who's not stupid, right? A flat earther worth their merit or worth something, right? Brian Cox is going to end up looking bad. But instead, you'll have a load of idiots pretend to be Brian Cox types looking to fight the flat earth. He's not Brian Cox, is he? So why would you want to talk to him? You know what I mean? It's like that. Why talk to Mac Toon in some ways? He's not Brian Cox either. You want the person who's actually the real deal. Right? You want the real deal, which is you want the pilot. You understand why I'm critiquing it now?
Yeah, the thing is, don't worry, Brian. I've got plenty of debates against pilots. I've got one. I had one flash. One
but that's not the point. You're missing it. I'm an audience member. I'm listening to this. I hear you and this guy. Then I find out this guy is not a commercial pilot in the comments. Right? I might never listen to one of the other ones I might never come across them or hear them. I only come across this dud. And that's my memory then. Do you understand? You can't guarantee an audience member is going to go listen to other debates you're having. Then, especially if you're showing up to be duped by someone who's not even a pilot. You are going to lose credibility. I'm trying to get it so you, Angels, doesn't lose credibility and you're arguing with me.
I'm not arguing with you. I agree with you. I see your point. And it's true. I guess I'll do what you said. Get these questions that they'll have to know the answer to confirm. If I can get him to actually prove he was a pilot, and this debate happened the way it did, well, it looks really good for me. Then I agree with you there, right?
Yeah,
I think. Sorry, guys. But I think we all go through a few phases. I mean, I know what you're saying, Angels. You're trying to convert them, and I can remember when I first found flat Earth, I didn't realise that this was a topic and people were debating it. I thought I'd been given some information from the creator, and it was my job to go and convert people. That's what I actually thought when I first come across this subject. And I went out I didn't know anything about the subject at that point, nothing. But I believed the Earth was flat at that point, and I thought it was my job to go and convert my friends, my family, anybody I came in touch with, and it caused me a lot of problems. I'm not like that now. I'm pretty much like Nathan describes it sometimes as he does his show. He doesn't think about it. I mean, I do have a few arguments and so-called debates with these Globers on different platforms, but I'm not doing that to convert anybody. So you may be at that stage now. I don't know.
What you just said is exactly the stage I'm at, because I feel honestly that I've prayed for this, right? I've prayed for knowledge in this area, and I've believed I've been given it. Like, I'm going toe to toe with PhDs, physicists, all these credible people that are supposed to be smart, and I'm destroying them right on TikTok. I feel like I'm definitely at that stage where I feel like I need to spread it. You know what I mean? But I agree with you as well. I probably will reach the point where it's and I'm trying to really consolidate this, because Nathan Thompson has told me this too. He says amateurs convert, and non-amateurs, or what do you want to call it, professionals just plant the seed, basically. So I think it's probably better just to be the seed planter. Don't try to convert, and I agree with that, because looking back, even just in the last 2 years that I've been a flat earther, I have wasted so much time on the same people that are just never going to get it anyway, right? Anti-flat earthers. So it is better just to plant seeds and move on. I agree with that.
Seeds for what? When you're going to harvest them?
The term convert, what do you guys think? I don't think it's a right term when you share knowledge and information with someone, and when you simply make somebody, let's say, realize something that already is. You know what I mean?
Realize, yeah.
That's it. Just that term convert. I never liked it when people say that, because you're not converting somebody to something else, some different beliefs or anything, right? If they see it, what you're telling them, they're going to be, okay. And they just realized something, right? They didn't convert to anything. They just realized the way reality is.
Yeah, you revealed to them something.
Yeah, you just shared the knowledge and information with them. You didn't convert them to anything. And I always had a problem with that term. So
I agree with you with that too.
Look, people are going to see it as I'm being overly critical with changes, but I'm not. I'm trying to put you in a position where your time is not wasted and your reputation is not tarnished by some bullshitter. If that guy is really a commercial pilot, brilliant. I mean, you should be shot to the top of the TikTok lists. But if he's not, that looks bad for you. That's my point.
I'm wondering what's a pilot doing on TikTok?
Well, Neil, I suppose, what are they doing on YouTube? But they're still there.
Yeah, that's true.
His channel is basically like answering questions and helping people that have like fear with flying or stuff like that, and telling them how the plane works, which is funny now that I think of it, because he had no idea about the attitude indicator. But yeah, a lot of his content is basically just helping people to realize that like flying is not dangerous and kind of thing like that.
Well, how the plane works, he didn't know what rigidity in space was. Or, you know what I mean? As you said, the attitude indicator. How could he know how a plane works? That'll be some of the absolute basics. You know what I mean? That's one of the 6 basic things. There's 6 instruments that you need to know about as a pilot. That's one of the 6.
Yeah, I mean, every other pilot I've debated, I've asked that question, and yeah, they know exactly what I'm talking about. So it's, yeah, pretty interesting. He was the first one that didn't know what it was. I mean, you know, like just at 500 miles per hour, the plane, like the pilot would have to nose down every minute, right? So a really good indication is, well, you feel when the plane goes up, you don't feel it when it's in straight and level flight, and you feel it when it's landing. So technically, if the Earth were a globe and it's true what people think, right? The plane would you'd feel the plane moving constantly, nosing down every minute. Am I wrong in saying that?
That my cue to round out? I think it is. With that, another huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G+ panels for making today's after show possible. And of course, a massive thank you to all of you for liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, joining as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, and all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.